ESPN College Football is presented by Physios, and we welcome you to a beautiful Saturday setting here in Lawrence, Kansas at Memorial Stadium. It's the Big 12 opener as the West Virginia Mountaineers come to town, a record of 2-1 against the Kansas Jayhawks, who play host at 1-2. So glad you're here with us, Mike Cousins, along with the quarterback, John Congemi. And we've got a day where we're going to see a lot of offense, and it starts with West Virginia quarterback Will Grier.
Well, the former Florida transfer now found a great home in Morgantown. And what I like about Will is he has the ability to extend plays when needed. He's tough. He'll hang in the pocket. He's smart. He's the son of a coach. And he knows how to place the football where it gives his Mountaineer wide receivers, especially the back shoulder here, a chance to make a play. And then when you heave it downfield and get it behind a youthful and inexperienced secondary that Kansas has, you have an opportunity to make big plays. I expect a lot of those today out of Will Grier.
Dana Holgerson has given up play calling duties, but make no mistake about it, his fingerprints are all over this offense. His teams have averaged 37 points a game since his days back at Texas Tech in 2005. On the other side, in year 3, trying to turn things around here at Kansas, David Beatty, 3-24 since taking over as the head coach. The Mountaineers, winners of the coin toss, they defer. And Evan Staley puts it in the air, 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Coming up for the Kansas offense that's got another great arm leading the way. Who started his career at Washington State, the quarterback Peyton Bender in year number 1 with Kansas.
What I like about Peyton is his quick release. I like the way he delivers the ball. I like the way he handles himself at the quarterback position. He's already over 1,000 yards in just 3 games. And what he needs to do is protect the football today against a stingy Mountaineer defense that can be opportunistic when you don't place the football where you like it, and the timing in the pass offense needs to stay up. You can't have that pass rush derail Bender and company in what they want to do down the field.
And there's movement on the line before the first snap.
Start by number 77 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
The left guard, Andrew Tovey.
Well, Mike, you never want to start going backwards, and 1st and 10 is tough enough against a Mountaineer defense. Now you've got the ball back at your 20-yard line, 1st and 15.
Kansas offense that's averaged 32 points a game over its first 3 games this year. 1 up and 2 down, and off to the left side, and right near the first down marker and past it, Khalil Herbert takes it on the ground. The sophomore with his 23rd carry of the year makes it a good one, a gain of 18.
Explosive play, and Kansas will go tempo right away in this football game. Expect that all day from this offense.
Herbert again, and gets maybe a yard there, going through the middle of that West Virginia defense, a 3-3-5 setup that, talking to Peyton Bender yesterday, he said the number of things that Tony Gibson, the defensive coordinator, can do with disguises and all the different combinations, said sometimes it feels like you're going up against 12 defenders.
Yeah, it feels like the Mountaineers can move those pieces of the puzzle around to confuse opposing quarterbacks.
Give to Herbert again. He splits through the middle, has another first down, and is taken down at the 40-yard line. A couple of explosive carries for the sophomore Herbert. This goes for 21.
1 for 18 and 1 for 21, Mike. And if Kansas offensively can get it done on the ground, it's going to take that much pressure off of the passing game in Peyton Bender.
Offensive coordinator Doug Meacham in year number 1, coming over from TCU. Off to the left side, and they get 4 on the carry. Doug Meacham's just a different guy. Talking about how he got into coaching. He said, you know what? I was ready to go become a ski bum in Colorado. Got an offer to become a GA, and is now, was very much a sought-after offensive coordinator, but goes way back with Jayhawks head coach David Beatty, which is part of what led him here to Lawrence. Taylor Martin off to the left side, a hesitation, and goes out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. Just the 6th carry for the junior from Fort Worth, Texas. Was a little banged up the last couple games.
You can see the stop and start acceleration that Taylor Martin has. He stopped flat in his tracks, close to the numbers was still able to accelerate around a couple of white jerseys for the Mountaineer defense and make a positive from a negative to a positive, and now a 3rd and short for Kansas.
And Martin stays in the game with the Jayhawks in the pistol. Going to the right side, swarmed by defenders, and on 3rd and short, didn't do enough to get the job done.
Credit Kazir White, the spur linebacker for the Mountaineers defense. He's in the backfield, and I believe the offense is going to stay on the field here, Mike, on 4th and probably a little bit more than a 1.5 yards to go.
Like the aggression here with the 7th play of the drive coming up for Kansas. They've all been on the ground.
You know you're going to have to score points against the Mountaineers. You might as well go for it here from the start to finish.
And it's Herbert in the backfield. He gets the carry, plunges forward, and gets the first down for the Jayhawks. And the fans love it in the early going as he stopped at the 24.
What I've been so impressed with in this opening drive, you start with a penalty, they really kept the football on the ground. They're doing it by running the football and winning the battle at the line of scrimmage.
7 plays, 7 rushes. Play number 8 as Bender has plenty of time to go to the air and makes the veteran move with nobody open, overthrowing and going out of bounds.
Great decision by Peyton Bender there. You don't want to kill the momentum of a drive by forcing the football into tight coverage. Only a 2-man route, nothing there. He throws it away, comes back on 2nd and 10 for his head coach, David Beatty.
Bender spent 2 years at Washington State, 1 year as a redshirt, and was a backup to Luke Falk in 2015. Played in just 5 games there. And now here in his opening season in Lawrence. Another run down to the 15-yard line. So they're sneaking right through the defensive line of West Virginia, and Herbert has been the point man on the drive.
One of the things I love about Herbert is the way he finishes runs. He will punish defenders coming up to make tackles, and that's a sign of a really downhill, tough running back. 61 rushing yards on this drive, Mike, and they're grinding it out against this Mountaineer defense.
Another 3rd and short. Tight coverage from the Mountaineers defense. And Herbert gets the call again. Is this what you expected for the opening drive?
Not at all. You know, when you have air raid tagged on your offense and you expect the ball to be going out with frequency, you don't expect the dominance on your opening drive on the ground. 10 plays, 4 first downs. They've been gashing West Virginia with big plays. 1 for 18, another 20-plus yard run on this drive.
Go to that left side where Hudson Hall had come in, one of the tight ends, to be a lead blocker for Herbert. So the rushing yards continue to get compiled on this opening drive on the season, and 3 games is a small sample size, but Kansas has only averaged 109 rushing yards a game. They're already better than half that.
That's right.
In 1 drive.
There's a negative play the Mountaineers defense was looking for.
So another 3rd down and short for Kansas.
2-man route top side. I would take my chances in the slot. Jeremiah Booker on a corner route.
And Steven Sims to the top of your screen. And Bender gives it up for Herbert. Spotted down at the 6-yard line. So another 4th and short situation.
And I think the offense is staying in the football game again with the ball inside the 10-yard line. That call tells me that David Beatty and offensive coordinator Doug Meacham said, we have 2 downs to make 3 or 4 yards, and we're going to do it on the ground.
And it's Martin in the backfield for Kansas. That flag comes in.
A false start by number 76 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 4th down.
And that quickly changes things for the offense. Without About a yard to go for the first down. Gabriel Rui, the senior place kicker, comes out onto the field.
Well, a couple of mistakes pre-snap set Kansas offense back a little bit, but a very impressive drive to open up this game if they can come away with 3 points.
Four for 5 on the year for Rui. It's a high kick and a good one. Long opening drive for Kansas. A little rock, chalk, tick-tock off the clock. 3-0. Kansas out front 3-0 on a Gabriel Rui field goal as the Jayhawks look to get to 2-2 in the early portion of this season. The Big 12 opener today for both the Jayhawks and the Mountaineers. A long drive, 12 plays on the ground. Khalil Herbert, the sophomore from Florida, a big part of that. One pass that was just a throwaway from Peyton Bender, and then the field goal to cap it off. Liam Jones with the kickoff. And here comes West Virginia with a bounce across the 25 for Marcus Sims. And our first look at the Mountaineers offense today. 46 points a game for this unit, number 15 in the country through 3 weeks.
Well, they can definitely throw the football on the perimeter, but what I like about West Virginia is they have the ability to run the football with Justin Crawford. So Will Greer, playmaking quarterback, he can extend plays, he can protect the football. 11 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, and 105 attempts. So this is a guy that wants to protect the football, but he will try to go over the top.
West Virginia goes on the ground on first down, and it's Crawford who splits the defensive line, gains a dozen, and has a first down.
We'll see tempo from both of these offenses, and we'll see a heavy dose of running the football from the Mountaineers and Justin Crawford.
Greer is on the move, nearly taken down, and he slides for a loss. He does get out of the pocket quite a bit, has some elusiveness to him there, but had nowhere to go on first down.
Good pressure by Dorrance Armstrong. He's the main cog in that defensive front seven to be able to put pressure in the pocket and harass Will Greer this afternoon.
Second down and 11. It's a drop off for Crawford, and he couldn't hang on. Incomplete pass. Third and long coming up. The first test for the secondary of the Jayhawks today.
Good job by the Jayhawks being able to go sideline to sideline against this Mountaineer offense. This is just going to be a quick screen to the short side of the field, but the distance between quarterback, that relationship, and tailback was altered by Armstrong again being in the throwing lane. This season, the Mountaineers 38% on third down in their conversion rate.
They need to get the ball to midfield to keep the drive alive. Two safeties deep as Greer flies down the sideline and his pass is incomplete. Marcus Sims, one of the fastest guys on the roster, unable to make the catch, and the punt team coming on.
Sims has dynamic speed on the outside, but it's a windy day here in Kansas, and that ball may have floated on him and caught up to him towards the sideline. Looks like he has a step and a half. That ball's put in a perfect spot. I'm not sure if the ball moved or Marcus just didn't make the play on it, but you can't ask more from your quarterback.
Fair catch signaled for by Steven Sims, and he's got it inside the 25-yard line. Interestingly enough, Dana Holgerson said one thing to expect different here in Lawrence: wind.
ESPN College Football is presented by Vizio, maker of award-winning 4K displays, and in part by Burger King. Check out the bold taste of the crispy buffalo chicken melt with crispy chicken and tangy buffalo sauce.
Kansas and West Virginia here in the first quarter. That opening drive for the Jayhawks. 12 runs and 74 rushing yards for a team that averages 109 on the ground per game. And now as they get the ball for the second time today and with the lead, we'll see if they can keep that up here. They held it for better than 6 minutes on that first drive and limited West Virginia to a 70-second drive and a 3-and-out. And right back to Khalil Herbert, who navigates toward the sideline and picks up 6.
Good open field tackle by Kenny Robinson, but Khalil Herbert is doing a great job of putting this Kansas offense in nice second and medium situations. Season numbers there. Today, 76 yards, almost 7 yards per touch for the sophomore running back.
Couple blockers in front. He's got a first down and then some. Why go away from him?
This is not what I expected out of this Kansas offense. Herbert again, a huge play, 11 yards on the ground, and they continue to use the clock and be productive on the ground against this Mountaineer defense that has a tendency to move around and make it difficult to identify. But right now, the Jayhawks offensive line having their way with them.
Herbert gets spelled. It's Martin who's been the other running back in action today, and he gets taken down from behind, wrapped up by Marvin Gross in the secondary.
Good 1-2 punch in the backfield with Martin being able to come back from an injury and spell Herbert in this football game early.
On second down, play action going toward the sideline. And the throw is too high from Bender, so he's off to an 0 for 2 start through the air, going for his big tight end, Ben Johnson.
And that's a big target at tight end, 6'5", 245, huge frame, could make plays. I expect Ben Johnson's number to be called a little bit more into the red zone when you get a little play action opportunity as this game moves along.
They like to use him in a variety of spots, can put him inside, can put him outside, and a versatile guy. See what they go with here on 3rd down and 5 near midfield.
And if I'm West Virginia, I bring pressure here on 3rd and 5.
And Bender sees it immediately. He tucks it and tries to run and throws incomplete on 3rd down. So Kansas will have to punt.
Good call by defensive coordinator Tony Gibson for the Mountaineers defense. They're going to be able to put pressure on the edge. After Bender makes a play action fake, he's able to get to the outside, but that edge was covered up. Terrific job by Kazir White. He's the guy in the backfield along with Qualls, the Sam linebacker who had the edge.
A bounce inside the 10. Can the Jayhawks get there? Oh, just a little bit late. Over 3 through the air for the Jayhawks. And West Virginia try and air it out when we come back. Tonight on ABC, we'll have the Big Ten battle between 3-0 teams. Trace McSorley, Saquon Barkley, and number 4 Penn State take on the Iowa Hawkeyes at Kinnick Stadium. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Also streaming live on the ESPN app as the Nittany Lions try to go to 4-0 for the second time under James Franklin.
You know, Mike, we always talk about the offense of Penn State. How about that defense generating 9 takeaways already this season?
Good start, something that the Jayhawks have tried to do, and they took away a lot of opportunity on the opening drive for Justin Crawford, Will Greer, and the Mountaineers, forcing them to go 3 and out. And they're just a gain of 2. Sneaking through the middle of that defensive line as Crawford gets out past the 40-yard line.
Well, that's the workhorse for the Mountaineers. 24 yards there on second down for number 25. That's where the Mountaineers want to live. Big plays, and they don't care how they get it, on the ground or through the air. Just chunk yardage plays to make this game move along and get some rhythm on offense.
The Mountaineers moved so fast that the chain gang was still catching up, and they couldn't snap the ball because the chains weren't set. Toss right to the sideline, one-on-one coverage as Karan White, a redshirt senior from Pennsylvania, makes the catch. That's a guy you love to have on your team, a grown man. He is 24 years old.
And he's a guy that can make you miss on the outside. That was a good open field tackle by defense, the corner for the Jayhawks.
Who's just a true sophomore. So a big age difference. And across the middle, another toss and catch as White has the catch for the second straight play, and all of a sudden a couple of bursts down the field. West Virginia's got it at the 31.
And they're going tempo. That's what they're at their best, when they're moving the football with tempo on the outside.
Crawford down inside the 25-yard line, the primary ball carrier so far for West Virginia. Leading the Big 12 in rushing, has had some big games, all three over 100 yards to start this season. And he finds room again, cutting down toward the 10-yard line for the Mountaineers.
Touchdown saving tackle by Derek Neal, but the Mountaineers now at the 10-yard line, knocking at the door.
Attacking and doing it with a plan here. Crawford gets upended and taken down by Bryce Tornade in the safety. So Crawford gets a breather here, and Kennedy McCoy fills in for him. And there's some confusion on the Kansas defense right now, trying to get players on and off the field. Substitutions all work. The handoff is to McCoy, and he's into the end zone for his second touchdown of the year. West Virginia takes a 6-3 lead.
Well, after seeing huge plays in the running game from Justin Crawford, Kennedy McCoy, the sophomore, takes it in for 7 yards. A terrific job by the offensive line of the Mountaineers, being able to provide some running room off that right side. And let's credit Elijah Wellman, the fullback. He gets a really good angle block at that second level that allows McCoy to get into the end zone.
Mike Molina with the extra point. And he's got it perfect. 71 for 71 in his career. Quick drive for the Mountaineers, up 7-3. The ESPN app is a fan's best friend. Stream every ESPN and ABC college football game live at home or on the go. You'll get access to scores, news, and highlights all season long. Download the ESPN app to start streaming now. It's a tough day to be a Mountaineer mascot.
It's a hot day.
Yeah, we got an 11 a.m. kickoff here in Lawrence. It's a little toasty outside. Notice no cap for him today. Maybe I'm sure he brought it.
He has it always on. With West Virginia, they move so fast it wasn't time to put the hat on.
Down the field quickly, and Kennedy McCoy with a touchdown run from 7 yards out. Steven Sims on the return. Would have been better not coming out of the end zone, as he doesn't reach the 15-yard line there for the Jayhawks. And now for our championship drive update, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. See what's going on today in the Big 12. Texas Tech over on ABC or ESPN2 with the early lead over Houston. And then you've got TCU and the Oklahoma State at 3:30 on ESPN. And the Sooners, number 3 in the country, taking on Baylor at 6:30 Eastern. So a 12-yard difference there by not taking that touchback. Sets up not so great field position here for Kansas on this drive as they trail 7-3, and Peyton Bender making an infield practice on the sidelines.
0 for 4 in the passing game, but they have been able to run the football effectively. 97 yards on the ground on 15 attempts. So I would think you go back to the well on the ground on second down.
Another pass. Taylor Martin makes the catch out of the backfield and turns it up for a gain of about 3, maybe 4. And so it's interesting, you know, do you think sometimes that offensive coordinators might overthink things and say, well, all right, we went with all these runs on the first drive. Now let's try the pass just to see what we've got, even though the running game works so well?
Yes, I do. Mike, you've got all these plays on your call list, but in that first drive that was so successful, you probably ran 3 or 4 plays.
An injured Mountaineer before the third down snap, and it's Kaiser White, the senior in the secondary. Peyton Bender is a guy who's got a very good skill set and comes here after spending last year at Itawamba Community College in Fulton, Mississippi. And he says, Fulton, Mississippi, there is school, there is football, and that's it.
And that's it. You know, playing high school football, Cardinal Gibbons High School in Fort Lauderdale, for Matt DeBuck, their head coach, I got to watch Peyton kind of grow up throughout the Mastroli Passing Academy. Ken Mastroli does such a great job with youth quarterbacks down there, as well as college and pro quarterbacks. So I got to see him and get involved in working with Peyton as a young kid, and he's matured now to the level where he has all the tools that you want at the quarterback position to run this air raid offense.
White, a guy who came over from junior college as well, and he's on the sideline at least for one snap as he gets evaluated, and Bender and the offense go back to work on 3rd down and 6 from their own 17.
Very important play early in this game. This Kansas offense needs to stay on the field and find a way to convert on 3rd down.
The Mountaineers bring 7. Bender gets rid of it quickly. He's got a catch, and he's got a first down for Tyler Patrick. And the Jayhawks find a way under heat to move the chains 15 yards on 3rd down.
Smart play by Bender. He held his snap count. He knew where West Virginia was bringing the pressure and went the opposite direction. There was a stunt down the middle. They brought pressure from the secondary. He found his one-on-one matchup to the wide side.
And they get set very quickly and go back to Patrick along the sideline. So both teams are getting right to the line of scrimmage, and after a big play, making a quick snap.
Both of these teams rely on tempo to keep opposing defenses off balance, and that's why I think they create so many big plays offensively. It's tough to get lined up and set up if you're a defense facing either one of these offenses.
Martin squirts through the middle and gets cut down across midfield. Nice run with some explosiveness. Mike Daniels stops him, but not before he runs for 19 yards.
Well, how about the 1-2 punch of Herbert, now Taylor Martin, the talented junior running back. Right down the middle, good alert run, rushing away from pressure.
And they've already surpassed their season total in rushing yards, which ranks 108th in the country. That's out of 129 teams, so that is not a good average, and they're just crushing that here in the first.
They may have found something in the run game. They're doing a great job at the line of scrimmage, and these two running backs, Herbert and Martin, running north and south.
West Virginia shows pressure as Herbert goes off to the left side. If he had slipped one more tackle, that could have been a very dangerous situation. And Kaiser White, who went off the field a few plays ago, back in the game, is there to stop him.
And here comes tempo on 3rd and short.
And a toss for Herbert. Just shy of the first down marker, trying to catch the Mountaineers off guard inside of 1 minute left here in the first quarter.
I think the offense stays on the field and you go for it again on 4th and very short.
Bender under center. Will we see him look to sneak?
Procedure again on the left guard, Tovey.
That's a killer.
A false start by number 77 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 4th down.
Second time in the first quarter that Tovey, the left guard, has been called for a penalty, and it's hampered them in very short yardage situations. They were going to go for it on 4th and goal, ended up having to kick a field goal. We're going to go for it here in plus territory, and now there's a decision to be made.
I think you let this clock run out and get the wind at your back to punt it for the first play of the second quarter.
So we'll see what Doug Meacham and the offense come up with heading into the second quarter. An exciting and quick moving first 15 minutes in Lawrence. Just a 4-point game, and the decision became a little bit easier for Kansas head coach David Beatty about what to do on 4th down as they get set to punt here to open the second quarter. It was a 5-yard procedure penalty that set them back. Still an interesting choice here, though, that they had to make because they're on the West Virginia side of the field. They know West Virginia can move the ball, so you got to imagine that you want to limit as many opportunities as you can for the Mountaineers.
Well, it's been the mistakes on 4th down that has forced them to kick the football, once on a field goal and now here in the punt that goes into the end zone. So the net isn't great for Kansas.
2 punts and 2 touchbacks for the Jayhawks. Will Greer and the offense back to work here for West Virginia after they moved it real quick down the field on the last drive. Greer out of Davidson, North Carolina. Ton of passing yards there and a great start in 2015 with the Florida Gators. Was suspended because of PED usage. Would have cost him half the year of 2016 had he stayed there. So he decided to go sit out all of last year and go to West Virginia. And they get a very mature guy, 22 years old, married, a dad, hands it off to Justin Crawford on 1st down, and it's been a very good match for Dana Holgerson, Jake Spavital, the first-year offensive coordinator, and Greer.
Well, he's fit this offense perfectly. He has the mind that you want in this offense. He makes good decisions, and he has a running game to lean on when he calls on it.
And a very strong arm, and all day to throw, going to the sideline. Too tall for the 6'4" David Sills, who's come on as a very strong option at wide receiver. Now 3rd and 7.
Another 2-man pattern, which is odd to see in this air raid offense. You go out and you try to flood the zones with multiple choices for your quarterback, and on 3rd and medium, he's going to have to make a play here on 3rd down. 0 for 1 today, converting in this situation.
The Jayhawks drop 7. Greer has an option. He likes it. Sills, and this time the completion is made out near midfield.
Nice call by Jake Spavital. A switch route to the short side. You get your outside receiver coming down the hash, and a good throw over coverage by Will Greer.
26-yard gain, 1st and 10, West Virginia at the 49.
Greer to the sideline. Good blocking as Sims has the ball right to the sticks, a pickup of 10.
This is how this offense gets into rhythm and tempo. You get your very first down of a drive, and then they beat you with tempo and execution.
And it's Sims who's down and is going to get some extra attention from the medical staff here at the end of the play.
Sims holding that left lower leg. It looked like above the ankle.
He came into this game with 5 catches, but 2 touchdowns already. One of the many solid options for Greer, and we talked about how he's been a good fit here as well. And Dana Holgerson giving up play calling duties this year for this squad, bringing in Jake Spavital, a guy he knows really well as his offensive coordinator. And Spavital, when we spoke earlier in the week, said part of the option he wanted to come here was the personnel. He knew that it was a great quarterback and a great match. West Virginia on the move, up by 4. Will Greer trying to join a pantheon of great college quarterbacks coached by Jake Spavital, the first-year offensive coordinator here with West Virginia. He says he's got some elements of a few of these guys.
He does. There's a little bit of everybody, and Brandon Whedon was one of those guys that he said that Will has a lot of those characteristics at the position.
Looking to throw here on 1st down across the middle. He puts it up high for Sills, who runs a beautiful route down to the 21-yard line.
That's 2 big-time throws in a row by Will Greer, just anticipating the coverage. It's bracket, it's over and under, and he's got a big window to the middle of the field, so he leads Sills right to that window. Terrific job.
And the Sills show keeps on rolling. Former quarterback who committed to USC in middle school, came to West Virginia as a quarterback, but then they put him at wide receiver on scout team, and he looked really good there. Still wanted to play QB, Ended up at junior college last year. Didn't end the way he wanted. And now he's back here setting up great things for West Virginia. 2 scores, 2 on the ground. And Crawford has his first of the day, a rushing touchdown from 11 yards out.
Beautiful drive by the Mountaineers. They just went down textbook. They went tempo. They used a little bit of the throwing of Will Greer. And then when it counted, when they get inside the red zone, it's the running of Justin Crawford. So a nice run pass mix, 7 plays, 80 yards. Only take a minute 46 off the clock.
Which really is not very surprising considering the way that they've moved the ball this year. The average touchdown drive for the Mountaineers has been 1 minute and 42 seconds. So right on target as they take a 14-3 lead.
It's amazing how West Virginia does it through the air, but when they want to score points in the red zone, they go to their running back, Justin Crawford, for the 14-3 lead.
Brought to you by Subway. The autumn carved turkey is a home run, or a touchdown, or another successful sports thing. And Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles.
Allen Fieldhouse, where coming very shortly will be late night at the Fog, the season kickoff for the Kansas men's basketball program. Football team right now down 14-3 back here at Memorial Stadium against a West Virginia offense that has struck and struck quickly. A last scoring drive under 2 minutes, which is what they've done to many a team so far this year. Staley's kick is out of bounds. It's his 3rd kickoff out of bounds this year.
A free kick out of bounds by the kicking team. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
League titles tying the record set by UCLA. He's going to have a heck of a team this year. You got Malik Newman, who's coming off of a redshirt year sitting out, transfer from Mississippi State. Billy Preston, who's coming in. Number 18 in the ESPN 100 last year. They keep Svi Mikhailuk on the roster.
And they better be good because they get challenged early. I think they have Arizona State, they have Kentucky. I think they traveled down to South Florida and play.
They're going to take on Syracuse in Miami.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the type of schedule you got to have, though. Find out what type of team you got in the early going, and they're not afraid to play anybody.
Like a timeout by the Kansas coaching staff. Didn't like what they sent out for that formation.
Kansas calls their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Today over on ESPN, a couple of the biggest games of the weekend. 3:30 Eastern in the Big 12. Number 16 TCU takes on Mason Rudolph and number 6 Oklahoma State, which is won 5 of 6 since the Horned Frogs joined the conference. And then in the SEC, the Battle of the Bulldogs. Number 17 Mississippi State against number 11 Georgia. Both games also streaming live on the ESPN app. We're not talking about football. We're just talking about cuteness factor in this pup battle. What do you got?
I think cuteness is a stretch, but I'm going to go with Uga. Just for the jersey. That's a tough call.
Those are a couple of slobbery fellows, but it's all with love. It's all with love.
You look at this game, 14-3 right now, West Virginia in command, but the way Kansas started this football game, they were running the football, they were doing the things they need to do. They need to stay out of their own way. 2 fourth down false starts. You have a timeout before you start this drive, and that's why you struggle. That's why you struggle winning football games with any consistency.
When they put the ball on the ground, it's been great. They've averaged 6.5 yards per carry on the ground. So 1st and 10 after the timeout, back at the 35-yard line. That's the tight end, Ben Johnson, coming out wide. And they're going to set up for some trickery, looking downfield, the ball hanging in the air, and it ends up incomplete. Steven Sims let it fly, and Martin, the running back, was his intended receiver.
Add that play to the list of mistakes and miscues that take points off the scoreboard. This is a touchdown. Good formation. You have it perfectly set up. Sims, all he has to do is put a little air under this thing, but you have your running back and Taylor Martin fall down. All he has to do is catch it and fall down, and you've got the ball at the Mountaineer 30-yard line.
So they've got to reset quickly, go to the air, and the pass is tipped off the hand of the true freshman corner, Kenny Robinson. And it's been simple things so far. You mentioned those 2 fourth-down penalties. That one right there, a player tripping, and it's a totally different game.
It's mental mistakes with the offensive line. You take a kickoff out of the end zone with hesitation, you get the ball inside the 15-yard line, and then you miss an opportunity for a huge explosive play on second down.
So third down, Sims. And not enough for a first down. And to add on to the list, not to pile on to Kansas, but there have been numerous opportunities here. You have a pre-snap timeout.
That's right.
Right there to start the drive. So you take away one of your timeouts just 2.5 minutes into the quarter.
You know, I think what Kansas needs to do, go on the sideline and say, hey, how did we start this game? How did we get points on our opening drive and take so much time off the clock, keep the football away from West Virginia? It was running the football and getting back to the basics.
Marcus Sims, a dangerous returner. No opportunity here as he's inside the 14, but he showed off last week what he could do. Almost took the opening kickoff back for 80 yards. So they know what they're faced with there. An 11-point game in Lawrence.
This is as good as there is. He got it. Here comes Harper. Got him. What a play. Incredible. And they got him. That kid is unbelievable. Wow. Game over.
Everything you love about baseball is on FS1.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
What happens when you take the biggest stars, pour them a cocktail, and sit them next to Andy?
Are you dating?
Are you dating?
I played the fifth.
Where is the craziest place you've...
Andy! Can I plead the fifth again?
Anything can happen in the clubhouse.
What is this show? Yeah!
Shade.
I love this show.
Watch What Happens live with Andy Cohen every Sunday through Thursday at 11, only on Bravo. And catch up anytime on Bravo On Demand.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
West Virginia back on offense, deep in its own territory. They've been familiar with that so far today. Not great field position, but they moved the ball quickly and made the most of what they've had.
Explosive passing plays down the field, good red zone running. And you can see the starting position, the 27, twice on the 20. But both times they started at the 20 resulted in 80-yard drives and touchdowns.
Kansas brings 4 on first down. Take a while to get there as Greer sidesteps his way and now takes off. And he's out to the 20-yard line. We were showing you that list of quarterbacks who Jake Spavital, the offensive coordinator, compares Greer to. And he said, I'm not going to put him on the same level as Johnny Manziel, but he does have that bit of escapability that he showed right there.
Well, especially to extend plays and still look downfield to make explosive plays with his arm.
McCoy, who's got one of the 2 touchdowns for West Virginia, gets a first down and picks up 13 yards.
Then again, the very first down, that's what Jake Spavital wants his team to get because he believes that leads to touchdowns and that leads to continuity on offense.
The middle of the defense has just been wide open. McCoy gets wrapped up by the linebacker Joe Deneen, but it's another big pickup as he gets 15. And after starting back in their own territory and deep, they're almost eclipsed midfield.
And McCoy comes out with that left arm hanging down pretty low, so Crawford back in the football game for West Virginia. West Virginia catching up on the ground to the Jayhawks.
That time just a pickup of a couple for Crawford, who got sent airborne earlier than he would have liked. Second year for him, playing with the men from Morgantown after transferring from Northwest Mississippi Community College. And he's quickly bottled up along the line. Just talk about the life experience you have in the backfield between Greer and Crawford. Both guys who are married. Both guys have at least one kid. Will Greer has a daughter. Justin Crawford married his wife Kenya. They've got 2 sons.
Well, you get maturity, and that's at the 2 positions in the backfield that are handling the football the most for the Mountaineers, quarterback and running back.
And now a 3rd down and 6. Pressure comes up the middle, throw to the outside. It's Crawford who makes the catch and has the 1st down and then some. That was a quick rush right through the center of the line, and Greer knew exactly where to go.
Great execution to the short side. You have slants coming inside, and your playmaking tailback going outside in Crawford. Easy pitch and catch for Greer, and the Mountaineers continue this momentum. Another drive starting in poor field position, but now on the Kansas side of the 35-yard line.
Greer makes a long throw, and it bounces off the hands of Karan White. Incomplete.
Another good throw with timing on the outside, but White needs to come down with that on 1st down. Kansas needs a stop. They need a big play. They have to be able to get their hands on the football and try to throw the Mountaineers backwards.
Martell Pettaway, the sophomore running back from Detroit, gets the carry on 2nd down. So we've seen Crawford, we've seen McCoy, we've seen Pettaway on the ground. You could realistically see a 4 running back rotation on any given Saturday for the Mountaineers. Press coverage from Kansas on 3rd down. Greer running through the middle. Shakes one tackler and then gets covered up.
He'll be close to a 1st down, Mike.
And he's got it. 1st down, West Virginia.
Another ad-lib play from Greer, being able to extend plays and use enough athleticism with his legs to keep this drive alive.
Handoff McCoy with patience. He's up through the middle again, and he's into the end zone again. His 2nd rushing touchdown of the day from 23 yards out this time as West Virginia stretches its lead to 17.
We've been talking about the playmakers on the outside, the quarterback, the running backs, but let's give that offensive line some credit. They've been able to gash the Jayhawks up the middle. This one for a plus 20-yard run. Just a terrific job of getting a helmet on a helmet, and no one really gets a hand on Kennedy McCoy. He's able to outpace and move to the right from that last would-be tackler, and the Mountaineers tacking on the extra point, up 21-3.
.856 here left 2nd quarter. West Virginia almost halfway to its scoring average of 46 points a game. Don't forget to kick off your Week 3 NFL Sunday with ESPN, because we've got a new time and a new team. Sunday NFL Countdown at 10 Eastern. Sam Ponder leads the way, and they'll have all the early breaking stories there on NFL Countdown, injury updates, and a preview of each game, taking you right up until kickoff, also streaming live on the ESPN app. The Oriad Hotel. 5th floor balcony right there is a good view right down here into Memorial Stadium.
Mike, it looked like some of the people were in our seats from last night up there. Looks pretty good.
It is a nice view from right up there. And a nice area right here all around Memorial Stadium. A very lively campus. So Staley's got it teed up with West Virginia leading Kansas 21-3. And after a kickoff out of bounds, he sends it right between the hash marks. Out across the 35-yard line, the wide receiver Ryan Shadler on the return.
Well, West Virginia's been able to do what they want offensively, and they haven't had great field position. But head coach Dana Holgerson likes what he sees from the Mountaineer offense. 10-play drive, 8-play drive, 3 plays of at least 80 yards or more, all resulting in touchdowns. So they've been able to finish. They've been able to start well, get that very first down of the drive, and then finish with inside running between the tackles.
An opening drive field goal for Kansas on a drive that was almost 7 minutes. And no scoring since. Martin is the tailback for the Jayhawks. And he looks for open room to run and does not find any. Nice open field tackle by Giovanni Stewart, the sophomore safety.
Well, not only has the Mountaineers offense got on track, but it seems like the Mountaineer defense has settled in after that first drive.
And they're pressed up here on second down with just one safety back deep. Herbert is drilled into the ground. Second straight play for Stewart. He is finding his way to the ball quickly.
In both plays, the Mountaineers have been able to get penetration behind the line of scrimmage, and Stewart has been on the tackle on both first and second down. A little delay, some confusion in the backfield, and no confusion for Stewart finding the football.
So 4 wide receivers here for Bender on 3rd down and 11. As West Virginia has seemingly figured out the running game. That was very successful for Kansas early on. A near interception was heading right into the hands of Elijah Battle, and he got knocked away by Drayvon Askew-Henry. That was going the other way, maybe for 6.
Battle was just sitting there playing right field or left field in this situation. He's patting the glove, waiting for it to come in his lap. And it seems like Askew-Henry comes from nowhere to break it up. This is going to be an interception, and it might go the other way for Battle. The cornerback was in perfect position.
So as much as a good play can end up as a air quotes bad play there.
That's right.
For WVU, that's how it played out. Now 7:27 left here before halftime, and it's West Virginia in control. Today, ESPN is proud to support college football's celebration of educators across the country through the Extra Yard for Teachers initiative created by the College Football Playoff Foundation. Glad you could join us here today from Lawrence, Kansas with John Kajemi, Mike Cousins, the Big 12 opener between West Virginia and Kansas. Dana Holgerson 2-0 against David Beatty, who's in year number 3 at the helm for the Jayhawks. They've scored at least 48 points in each of those first 2 games against Beatty. Gary Jennings has his first catch of the day. Second down and 2 for West Virginia. On the slant, and that's a catch. How about the reliable hands of David Sills? He's a big target, and so far he's been Greer's favorite.
He's been good on the edge, he's been good coming into the middle, and he's been that safety valve for quarterback Will Greer. 9 of 13, 120 yards so far in the first half.
And that pocket real soft. Doesn't like anything he's got, so he takes off And the ball comes loose. So does a flag from the official on the sideline as the ball went out of bounds on the tackle by Keith Lonecker.
I don't know if the hand got into the nameplate or in the collar of Greer on that takedown on the tackle.
There is no flag. The fumble was forward and out of bounds.
Yeah, couldn't figure out initially why that flag came out. The ball comes out at the end of this. Greer again buying some time first in the pocket, then he extends the play out on the edge. There's the ball that is stripped. It goes backwards, but no penalty on the tackle. That was just a clean tackle by Lonecker.
Greer with all sorts of time. And he threw just a hair behind Sills. That made the difference to bring up 3rd and long.
Mike, we mentioned this on the last drive. This defense of Kansas has to find a way to get off the field. This is a 3rd and long, closer to 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. So you have to be able to get your stop and get the football back with relatively decent field position. First things first, they have to find a way to affect Will Greer in the passing game.
Whether it's been the run or the pass, West Virginia has frequently targeted the middle of the field. See what they do on 3rd down and 8. As Greer steps up, goes to the middle again. And Gary Jennings has catch number 2 of the day and a Mountaineers first down. Why is the middle so wide open?
Well, you know what? In this air raid offense, they've got bubble screens on the outside. They've got a lot of players outside towards the numbers, and they've got one streaking guy coming in as your check down, as your safety valve. And the middle of the field has been wide open most of the time on the run. This Jayhawk defense has not done a great job of stopping the run between the tackles.
Off to the left side, Crawford gets right to the sticks. And a first down. West Virginia seemingly able to do just about anything that it wants.
This might be your shot play for the Mountaineers. It looks like some confusion on the defensive sideline. Maybe Lonecker coming out of the game at the linebacker position.
Kansas calls their second timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
Competitively speaking, that one timeout that they burned early is not going to hurt them. Now down to just one timeout as they're down 21-3 with West Virginia driving. And you talk about maybe taking the big shot on first down here right near midfield as they've moved into plus territory. Their numbers on first down have just been phenomenal. They've averaged almost 9 yards a play on first down this year.
Well, today they've been phenomenal when they've been backed up. And they've got that very first down of the series. They've been able to go 35 plays, 16 first downs, and they've been the ratio of run and pass has been terrific. But more importantly, the explosive plays have been really good.
And Crawford may not, let's say he doesn't play in the second half. He might go over 100 yards for the 4th straight week to open the season.
That's right.
And today he could do it in just 30 minutes if he keeps up this pace. Greer facing some pressure and goes up top. Oh, what a help it is to have a tall target, because it ends up as a West Virginia touchdown. A 49-yard connection to David Sills, who's got his team-leading 6th score of the year.
Well, there's the big shot play. Once you cross midfield, you're looking for defensive opportunities. What kind of defense are they going to be in when you set up quickly at the line of scrimmage after the timeout? Where's your best matchup? It seems like Will Greer thought his best matchup was down the field to David Sills. This is a great touch pass over decent coverage by Derek Neal, the nickelback, and then that's a great individual effort to get David Sills into the end zone, avoiding a couple of tackles inside the 10-yard line.
Nick Meadows, the snapper, Billy Kinney, the holder, and Mike Molina, the kicker. That is a trio of native West Virginians on special teams. Everybody's clicking in blue, white, and yellow. Mountaineers rolling. Uh-oh. That's a lot
of push-ups. They better rest up for the second half.
West Virginia on a 49-yard touchdown catch by David Sills extends its advantage to 28-3 as the Mountaineers open Big 12 play here today at Kansas. Average starting field position has been their own 19-yard line, and they have moved the ball down the field. A punt on the opening drive, and the next 4 have gone for a score. 4 score and 1 punt to go. This game
was a pretty good game.
4 score and 1 punt to go. This was 3-0 Kansas.
Right. Dominant opening drive by the Jayhawks offense. They take some time off the clock. A couple of pre-snap penalties force them into a field goal opportunity. And now you fast forward with 5:17 left to go before halftime, and Peyton Bender's looking up at a 28-3 deficit.
It's Herbert in the backfield. He tries the middle, and that's the type of success they enjoyed on the first drive and got away from over successive drives.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that game plan went from Series 1 to Series 2, but you have to be able, no matter what the score is, they've been able to gain yards and have success on the ground.
A similar look. It'll bring up about 3rd and 1 for Kansas. Jayhawks trying to win their first Big 12 opener since 2009. In peril right now against West Virginia. They load things up on the left side of the formation. Every defender is within about 2 yards of the line of scrimmage for West Virginia. And a change of pace. Herbert is off to the races. He's got one man to beat, and he's gone. Herbert takes it all the way. 67 yards for the sophomore Khalil Herbert, and Kansas has struck back.
Get back to the ground game, and that's where Kansas had all their success early in the football game. An explosive play by Herbert, 67 yards. He goes untouched, and the patience he shows behind the line of scrimmage. West Virginia has 10 players, could be 11, within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage. That one cutback and then the vision to find the hole and use that speed to get to the end zone. Khalil Herbert's a special running back.
And he's shown plenty of ability over the first 2 quarters.
The Mountaineer defense has played really well against the run, except for the first series and then on that last 3 downs. Benton on the outside, he's going to start in the middle, the linebacker, and he's going to scrape himself to the outside where he actually overruns the hole, and that allows Khalil Herbert to find the hole back to the inside and go untouched for the 67-yard touchdown. That was just a good read and patience by Herbert, and maybe some over-exuberance by Benton trying to make a play on 3rd down. He overruns maybe his run fit, and that leads to an explosive play on 3rd down and an explosive day for Herbert.
Now the question will be, as Kansas goes back to defense, and a short respite for the Kansas defense, not usually a good thing, but a quick scoring drive, certainly they'll sign up for that any day of the week, is what will the secondary be able to do as West Virginia will get the ball back with plenty of time. Sims just outside the goal line. And stop with forward progress out of the 22-23. They've seen Will Greer today have plenty of time in the pocket. That has been part of the issue for the Kansas defense. They've got some great guys up front, Daniel Wise on the inside, Dorrance Armstrong on the outside. But if they don't get there, you got young guys back there, and there's only so much time you can guard in coverage.
And they haven't been able to get there in the first 3 football games. It seems like the defensive line has done their job adequately, but it hasn't been backed up by the linebacking core and the secondary, coming away with interceptions and tight coverage.
Greer's got 4 wide receivers on 1st down. and smothering coverage over the backside of Sills, and a flag comes in at the end of the play. It looked like Hassan defense.
Pass interference by number 8 of the defense. It's a spot foul.
Shaquille Taylor, the cornerback.
Well, it was a 3-receiver set right in front of the Mountaineer bench, and that flag was late, but there was some contact. I'm not so sure the ball was catchable.
Crawford gets the carry and gets swallowed up right away by Joe Deneen, the mayor, the Lawrence, Kansas native. Bursts through and hits him in the backfield.
What a nice read by Joe Deneen. Last week struggled a little bit against Ohio on the road. He gives you everything he has on every play, but immediately beats the line of scrimmage and meets Justin Crawford a couple yards deep in the Mountaineer backfield.
That's the type of play that Clint Bowen, the defensive coordinator, is looking for, but on a much more consistent basis. A 4-man rush against Greer. He's flushed out of the pocket. Great ability to run and a real strong arm if he wants to toss it. And slides right back where the line of scrimmage was at the 35-yard line. Back-to-back strong plays from Kansas.
And back-to-back negative plays for this Kansas defense on the Mountaineer offense. So now you have a 3rd and long for Kansas. Can you get excited about it? Can you come up with 3 plays in a row that get your defense off the field? And on the other side, for Jake Spavital, can you find a play for Will Greer to have time in the pocket, extend it, and find a playmaker down the field?
Greer, a dart, and the catch is made. It's a first down. Karan White set himself up, and it's out to the 48-yard line.
Terrific job by Greer stepping up in the pocket. It allowed the timing to happen in the pass offense with White coming back to the football. Nice pitch and catch on 3rd down.
Crawford looking for an opening off to the left side and does not find one. Jackie Desir, the defensive tackle, one of the first to help stop him. And this is exactly what Clint Bowen, the defensive coordinator, talked about with us yesterday afternoon. Get him to 2nd and 10, get him to 3rd and 8. But it's been those long plays, or I should say, the 3rd and 11, 12, where the difference has been made. We saw it on the last first down conversion, and now 2nd and 10 after no gain on first down. A quick toss to Jennings, and he's out to the 50-yard line.
This is one of those plays that the Mountaineers ran with such success in the Orange Bowl years ago with Geno Smith. This goes as a pass play to Gary Jennings, and good recognition from the secondary from Mike Lee. We haven't mentioned his name much for Kansas defensively.
West Virginia 5 for 6 on 3rd down. Greer fakes a pass to the flat and looking for Sills again. That one incomplete. Defense right behind him, and Kansas comes up with a stop they needed on 3rd down. Deontay Ford in defensive Sills.
Finally, some secondary help for this defensive line. A couple of good pressures up front, and then Ford times this perfectly, fights through the back of David Sills. A big body at 6'4" to get around, but he gets that right hand on the football.
Sims back on the return as the ball goes east-west at the 25-yard line. Just a 24-yard punt, and now 1 timeout for Kansas with 44 seconds left in the half. Our ESPNU halftime report coming up. Take a look at the doubleheader starting in the Big 12 with TCU and Oklahoma State, a series dominated by Oklahoma State in recent years. Mississippi State and Georgia And a look at Saquon Barkley as well. Chris Cotter, Chip Kelly, and Jonathan Vilma coming your way at the half. That ball is tipped, and it's intercepted. Mike Daniels going the other way. Touchdown, West Virginia.
Mike, just when Kansas thought or felt they had some momentum provided for their defense, that's just too easy. And that's a high screen pass, an overthrow. It goes off the hands of Sims right into the lap of Mike Daniels. 25 yards later, he's walking into the end zone for a defensive score for the Mountaineers.
The extra point to make it 35-10. Well, just as quickly as wind went into the sails of Kansas, they realized they weren't nylon sails, but they were made out of loose leaf paper, and they crumbled pretty quickly.
It did. The house came tumbling down here in the second quarter, and it looked like there was an effect on the football early by Reese Donahue. He's the end that comes in that forces the high throw from Peyton Bender off of the hands of Steven Sims and into the lap of Mike Daniels. Watch 46 and white. He's going to be the blur that comes in the face of Peyton Bender. But that's just being in the right place at the right time for Mike Daniels, who walks in for the score.
Kansas is going to get the ball back here. You can't imagine they're going to do anything except try and put it on the ground and send this one to halftime at a 25-point difference. Even more painful, too, with that score. West Virginia won the toss, and they're going to get the ball to start the second half. From the 10-yard line on the return, Sims, the junior who was the intended recipient of that Bender pass that was picked off and was a West Virginia touchdown. Something's sitting in the back of my mind that says West Virginia's still got 3 timeouts here.
And they have 2 quarters of football to play as well. It depends on the success on first down if you're West Virginia defensively. If Kansas is going to get 5-6 yards on first down, I think you just take it to the house and be content with 35-10, because Kansas really gives you no sign of being able to score repeatedly on offense.
And Herbert finds some room on first down up the sideline and out of bounds to the West Virginia 48-yard line. Gain of 25 for Herbert, who's been the biggest spark today offensively for KU.
Love the vision, strength, and burst that Herbert has out of that running back position.
Three safeties back deep here to cover everything long as Kansas goes to the air on first down. And a 7-yard game and a timeout. It's the last of the half for Kansas. So now, quickly into plus territory here. What do you do? Because if West Virginia keeps showing defensive looks like they just did with 3 deep, going long is going to be difficult.
Well, you've got to be able to get a completion where it either moves the chains or gets you out of bounds, and you've got the wind at your back. So the opportunity for Kansas to get that field goal unit on the field, it has to be something along the rail or something along the edge of the field to stop the clock or do it with a first down. Khalil Herbert's had an unbelievable first half for a team that is down 35-10. 19 rushes, 191 yards. He's over 10 yards every time he touches it. And the touchdown, the single touchdown for Kansas.
John, that's following up on what he did last week in the loss against Ohio. Equally 19 carries, but that was only 137 yards and 2 touchdowns.
It's amazing the amount of offense at Kansas on the ground, how successful they've been. But the mistakes in the turnover and West Virginia's offense leading them to a 35-10 score.
Clock down to just 13 seconds left in the half. And Bender across the middle of the field again, has a first down through the air, so they'll get the change to move. Booker has the catch, and they're going to have to quickly snap and spike. The clock is down to 5 seconds here, and the field goal team is coming on for the Jayhawks.
Really good job by Bender hitting that deep dig route. You get a first down, the clock's going to stop, you spike it, now you get your field goal opportunity with Rui. Made the first one from 28. This one looks like it's closer to 41, 42 yards.
So officially at 41 for Rui. And Dana Holgerson wants a timeout. He's got 3 to use.
West Virginia calls their first time for the half. 30-second timeout.
Well, it's a hot afternoon. Ice is not going to last very long today here in Lawrence.
You're right.
The storms may have come and gone, but don't forget there are thousands who, affected by those recent disasters, still need help. You can support the American Red Cross in their effort to provide meals and shelter to these families. Donate today by going to redcross.org/ESPN. So potential for 35-13 if Rui is able to connect on the field goal. Already hit earlier today. So he's 5 for 6 on the year. This try from 42 would be the longest of the early season for the senior from Oklahoma. Tries a beauty, and it's a good one. 35-13 to bring the first half to a close here at Memorial Stadium. A couple of missed opportunities in the early going after a promising first drive for Kansas. West Virginia has seemingly moved the ball at will.
Well, West Virginia's been able to capitalize, not really with great field position, but they have 4 drives of over 80 yards cashing in for touchdowns, and they get the defensive score to pad their lead.
For Kansas, it's been a very bright day, a career day for Khalil Herbert. And on the West Virginia side, spreading out the wealth. Crawford and McCoy getting in on the ground, and Sills, the top target, through the air. West Virginia 35, KU 13 at the half. By Vizio. Big 12 opener here in Lawrence, Kansas. At halftime, it's West Virginia 35 and Kansas 13. And off we go for half number 2. West Virginia winners of the coin toss, so they will get it at the 25-yard line with 15 minutes on the clock. Time for today's game track, brought to you by Taco Bell. I'm going to direct your attention away from the score into the bottom of this, and Khalil Herbert, 191 yards. Whoa.
Phenomenal first half for a team that only was able to put up 13 points, and he's just strong running back in between the tackles, explosive 67-yard run. But what West Virginia has done with poor field position, 4 consecutive touchdown drives of 80+, that was impressive for the first half.
Quick strike drive has been the go-to play and operation for West Virginia as Sills makes the catch, and he pulls in his 6th ball of the day, twice as many as anybody else on his team so far this afternoon. The average touchdown drive this year for West Virginia coming into this game, 1 minute and 42 seconds, and they have pounded the middle of the field in the first half to the tune of similar success to go up 35-13.
And it just hasn't been running the football. Throwing the football over the middle has been really successful for Will Grier.
It's McCoy in the backfield for Greer. Out of the pistol, and he shovels it off to Sills, who turns the corner and trying to cut it back is sliced down, but does get the first down on a gain of 7.
West Virginia does such a good job of getting that initial first down of their drives. They feel that propels them, gives them the confidence they need and the momentum to continue on down the field for explosive plays.
Without Sills on the field, they run the ball. And Jake Spavital calls Kennedy McCoy's number again. A nice first half for him as he ran for 58 yards and 2 touchdowns. Got a bald eagle, Batman sign. Got a lot going on.
A little bit of everything there.
Photos there. You know what, John? I think we've seen from both sides today, whether it's been Herbert or the combination primarily of Crawford and McCoy for West Virginia, has been patience waiting for blocks to develop.
Yeah, on both sides. I think you've seen it from Crawford and McCoy for West Virginia. They've done a nice job of keeping those feet and legs moving behind the line of scrimmage without going north and south, but they're able to hit that switch and get to top speed within 2 or 3 strides to make big plays.
3rd and 3. Sills goes in motion from the slot, now rolling out. He's got an option for Greer, who just throws it too low and behind him. With good execution, it's an easy first down. Instead, it's 4th down and the punt team's coming on.
And that's really the first play I've seen Will Greer kind of rush something or not execute properly. This was an easy throw. You've got one defender on an island. He's a linebacker that's running outside, Joe Deneen. You've got him in between you and your favorite target, David Sills. And the first guy that knows he made a mistake or a physical error was Will Greer.
Sims calls for the fair catch and takes it at the 11-yard line for Kansas. So they get what they needed. They had that pick 6 at the end of the first half that helped spread the margin for West Virginia. Now the defense gets a stop. We saw the run be successful to open the first half. If you are offensive coordinator Doug Meacham, where do you go?
I go right back to the running game. Your best player on the field has been Khalil Herbert. He's done an excellent job, and there's been a tandem on that side. Taylor Martin's done a nice job spelling the sophomore running back out of Coral Springs, Florida. So you have a 1-2 punch in the backfield. Utilize those guys.
It is indeed Herbert, but with not a lot of running room on first down. Marvin Gross, the redshirt senior, coming up to the line of scrimmage. And the play's blown dead.
1-yard gain of the play, 2nd and 9 at the 12.
So Herbert 8 yards shy now of 200 for the afternoon. Came into the game with 147 yards over the first 3 for the mechanical engineering major.
This could be the 3rd procedure penalty on Tovey, the left guard.
False start by number 77 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 2nd down.
At least it was on 2nd down.
Most of the time it's been first down. It started the Kansas Jayhawk offense on 1st and 15, and it has to be frustrating for head coach David Beatty trying to get momentum and back in this football game, trailing so far 35-13.
They fake the run to Herbert and a low throw out to the 15-yard line. And the pass is complete to Ryan Shadler, who gets the nickname Little Edelman.
You'd like him to be a little bit more of a presence in this second half if he's going to be compared to Edelman, because that's a playmaker who's actually lost for the season this year for the Patriots.
5'11", $191 for Shadler, the former track runner at Wichita State. It's a delayed 5-man rush, and the throw goes over the middle, caught by Tyler Patrick. He's the leading receiver today for Kansas with 3 catches.
That was well executed. Tough catch over the middle. If I'm Kansas, I go right back to running the football. Go back to make this a drive. You don't have to get it all back here with one play. You'd love to get a quick score, but you've got plenty of time now in the second half to get back in to the rhythm that was working in the first half, and that was the running game.
Going for Sims. It's a look they've shown 3 times today, and that's the first time it's developed into anything significant. When they've thrown to Sims out there on the wide side of the field, they had the pass he threw downfield that ended up incomplete, the pick six,
right,
and there the completion, so it works for the first time. They set up a nice rollout for Bender. He throws behind his tight end, Ben Johnson, incomplete on 2nd and 1.
We have a Mountaineer defender in the secondary down, it looked like Mike Daniels.
That was the guy who had the interception return for the touchdown at the end of the first half. A senior from Miami. West Virginia out in front, 35-13, third quarter in Lawrence. A sunny Saturday in Lawrence, Kansas. West Virginia and Kansas in a game that has featured plenty of offense so far. West Virginia 380 total yards, and Kansas with 225 on the ground. The majority of that coming on carries for Khalil Herbert. 3rd down and 1, Kansas. And they go to the ground to try and solve their issues. Herbert gets the carry and gets the first. Big 12 opener for Kansas and West Virginia. The Jayhawks 1-2 to start the year. Mike Cousins, John Congemi, glad to have you with us. And West Virginia comes in at 2-1, raising their level of competition with the opponent this week relative to the last couple weeks. They played against Virginia Tech, a neutral site game, lost by a touchdown. Really close game there against the Hokies, and then blew out East Carolina 56-20. And last week in Morgantown faced Delaware State. So here getting a little bit more of a sense of what kind of team they'll be against a Big 12 opponent.
And defensively, they've really turned it around from the first series. They've been opportunistic. They've been able to pressure the pocket, done a good job against the run, other than the large 67-yard run by Khalil, who's off to the races again.
Primed for another one. He stiff arms a defender, and he could take this one for a second score. Cutting it back inside the 10 and brought down all the way to the 6-yard line. Herbert goes for 60, and he threw Drayvon Askew-Henry to the ground on the way.
So he's got a 67-yard run, he's got a 60-yard run, all up the middle of the Mountaineers defense, and really untouched until he gets about 20 yards away. Good job using the offhand, and now he gets into the end zone, and has a chance to get into the end zone.
How about that quick strike from Kansas? And an extra point away from making it a 15-point deficit. Khalil Herbert having the day of his life. 2 scores on the ground, 261 yards for the sophomore from Coral Springs, Florida.
And Mike, both career highs for Herbert. Just a terrific job of, the toughest yards are between the tackles. And once you get to the second level, man, he can make you miss or punish you the way he ends and finishes runs.
West Virginia certainly comfortable bringing pressure on defense, but when there have been holes, Khalil Herbert has snuck through them, and when there have been defenders, he stiff-armed them away. 35-20 after a long run with a touchdown at the end. Between a couple of offenses that like to air it out, it's been the ground game that has defined this one between West Virginia and Kansas. It's far from over with 9:02 left in the third. And Kansas's Khalil Herbert, 261 rushing yards, the 5th best single game performance in Kansas history, and still plenty of action left. 35-20 West Virginia, their last score. An interception taken back for a touchdown by Mike Daniels. And Herbert has gone off and has seemingly been unstoppable.
By number 20 of the kicking team. The 5-yard penalty would be assessed at the dead ball spot. First down.
Well, it's been a supreme effort by Khalil Herbert. He's done such a nice job of getting explosive plays into this Kansas offense. We expected it through the air. You know, you hear air raid, you hear all this stuff about trying to stretch the field, but it's been the running attack of Herbert and that offensive line doing a nice job. And now the pressure's back on West Virginia's offense and Will Grier. You know, this a couple minutes ago didn't feel like a football game, but it's starting to feel a little bit more like one right now.
And there was quick penetration from the Kansas defensive line before the toss to Gary Jennings. That last drive, it was a Kansas stop, yes, but it was a Will Grier mistake.
Yeah.
That stopped the drive.
An easy throw running towards the Mountaineer bench that led to the Kansas touchdown.
Grier with some soft touch does get the first down. The running back Kennedy McCoy circles around.
Will has had all the time in the world to kind of find his footing in the pocket. He's been able to set and then reset without being harassed in the pocket. And that's crucial for West Virginia to keep that momentum on offense.
Against a four-man rush that's bottled up by the offensive line. A heave down the middle of the field, and that pass is fought for the 29-yard line. And it's Kansas football. Hassan Defense rises to take it away.
Holding by number 79 of the offense. Please decline. First down.
And Mike Defense must have ripped the football away from the receiver on the way down. That was just good strength and fighting for the football. That's a 50-50 pass down the middle. And we were talking during the break, West Virginia is going to need some kind of turnover to get Kansas back into this game, or Kansas' defense has to do something, make a play to get the momentum. And that's just a good ball skills in the air and out rebounding White. That's a 50-50 throw that Defense is able to rip away from White and get the momentum back on the Kansas Jayhawks sideline.
What a big play for Kansas. And now 8:06 in the third. They go back to work from their own 30-yard line. It's probably about the fourth or fifth time we've seen one of the officials rush in to slow down the pace of play in this game. On the reverse, Bender out in front as a blocker. It's a first down and then some. Dom Williams on the move for Kansas, the freshman from McKinney, Texas.
And Mike, you might be able to tack on a face mask at the end of that run by Dom Williams.
And what a perfect time and opportunity for Doug Meacham to pull a trick out of the bag.
Holding by number 19 of the offense. Penalty is 10 yards. And replay the down, second down.
Just when you think Kansas is going to have another explosive play to get into the Mountaineer territory, the holding call brings it back. It will result as a first down for Kansas at their own 44-yard line, but you're starting to see a little bit more confidence and variety of offense with Kansas.
Now after the big run from Williams, the freshman, it's Martin in the backfield on first down. He takes it to the left side and trying for a big banana-like turn around the corner. Doesn't get it. Giovanni Stewart runs him down.
Good open field tackle by Giovanni Stewart. Boy, Martin's really got to get that football on the outside hand so he can use his offhand to fend off a would-be tackle in Stewart, but that's just a good aggressive defensive play by the sophomore safety.
See what West Virginia does here with 5 options for Bender. He throws right to the sticks. Great grab by Evan Fairs to go up and get it for his 6th catch of the year. First down, Kansas into West Virginia territory, and they are right back to the line of scrimmage. The Mountaineers drop 8, so Bender's got all day to throw, and even underneath wasn't open as Al-Rashid Benton, the middle linebacker, swats it away from Herbert. Benton keeping his name in the family. Al-Rashid, it's a combination of his grandfather Al and his dad Rashid, how you come up with the hyphenated first name.
He's been in on multiple plays for that Mountaineer defense today, and I expect him, as the season moves on, to be one of their leading tacklers on that defense.
2nd and 10. Bender nicely fields a ground ball and gives it up to Herbert. That could have gone a lot of ways whenever the football hits the turf.
That's an example of not making a bad play worse. That was a horrible snap to field for a quarterback, and it bounced a couple of times. Bender was able to go down, get the football, not lose the rhythm or the timing in that run. And now you have 3rd and long, 3rd and 7 for the Jayhawks offensively. I would think there might be a little bit of pressure here on 3rd down by the Mountaineers.
And here it comes. A throw to the sideline. And the pass is too high, intended for Chase Harrell. If you want a one-on-one matchup, 6'4", that's your guy.
I just think that's a tough throw. When you have zero pressure, no one in the middle of the field, get your 6'4" body going to the inside where the bodies and safeties and linebackers are vacating. Give them a chance in the middle of the field instead of outside the numbers. A lot easier for quarterback Peyton Bender.
Which quite often has been the formula for Will Greer and David
That's
Sills on the other side. See if the Jayhawks can get what they want this time. And they keep it out of the end zone. Swatted perhaps a little too hard there on special teams, but they've had a couple go into the end zone. But hey, inside the 10, better than out to the 25. On ESPN2 in Spanish. Back here in Lawrence, Kansas, along with John Kajemi, Mike Cousins, as West Virginia goes back to work on offense. And on the ground, it's Justin Crawford on first down, who gets it out to the 25-yard line, a pickup of about 15 yards for the senior running back out of Georgia.
And again, following Elijah Wellman, that fullback slash tight end slash athlete. The guy's unbelievable in leading these West Virginia running backs.
That's a guy who doesn't get a lot of credit because they have such talented running backs. They're not handing it off to the fullbacks. But the coaching staff and Clint Bowen, the defensive coordinator for Kansas, says this is a guy who's an ACL killer with the way he can just go after guys, get down low and block, and he's the unsung hero of their run game. Greer gets flushed out of the pocket, throws up a jump ball, and it's incomplete at midfield, looking for Sills.
Well, on that particular play, I think it was Joe Deneen, the middle linebacker, got away with a hold on Wellman. He was going to go right down the middle of the field and be a primary pass catcher. Kansas gets away with a hold, and it ends up as an incomplete pass, and now the Mountaineers offensively, 3rd and 8. On a down, they desperately need to stay on the field.
Greer with a collapsing pocket. And it's picked up by McCoy. Incomplete pass. Kansas delivers again on defense.
We haven't talked about Dorrance Armstrong since the first quarter, but he gets his left hand on the football, tips the Will Greer attempt on 3rd down, and now head coach David Beatty a little bit more jump and hop in his step on that Kansas sideline. They're starting to believe they're one score away from really feeling like they're in this football game.
And Armstrong is a guy who said, look, I'm fighting up the best I can. I'm getting double teamed so much. And even though he might not get through, the double team sets up the opportunity for his teammates. Let's take a look at this great play from the first half. Looking on the outside for Steven Sims. It ended up in the hands of Mike Daniels, the cornerback.
Yeah, the All-State all-hands-in play here. Just an easy one for Mike Daniels, the senior from Miami, Florida, South Dade High School. He's just going to catch that and run into the end zone with authority. The Mountaineers feeling pretty good going into halftime with that defensive score.
Bender looked one way, checked off, heaves downfield, and it's caught by Sims, and he's taken down inside the 5-yard line. What a throw from Bender into single coverage.
"64 yards later, Peyton Bender finding his playmaker, Steven Sims. You want to talk about a perfect throw and catch to get the football inside the 5-yard line.
And there had to be a correction there from the official because he said the penalty would be enforced on the kickoff. I think he thought it was
his
a touchdown.
score. That's right.
Mike Daniels is down just outside the goal line.
Well, Mike, you mentioned Bender was looking right initially, came back and said, you know what, I think I have single coverage to the boundary. Let me get it to my playmaker. And that gets the football inside the 5-yard line. And on the result of the play, Daniels was still down on the sidelines, but what a throw and catch by the Jayhawks. Just extension, getting the hands out. Steven Sims, you couldn't throw a better football from Peyton Bender.
It's exactly the guy they wanted to bring into this offense in Bender, to be able to find the guys like Sims or Jeremiah Booker or Quan Hampton. And they knew exactly who they were going for. David Beatty said, when I went down to Fulton, Mississippi, I knew this was our guy because we knew where he had come from. 2 years under the tutelage of Mike Leach in the similar system at Washington State. Not a starter there, but a guy who was a perfect fit here. And already here in game number 4, he has outthrown their leading passer from last year, Montel Cozart, who's in his final year of eligibility at Boise State.
When you get a quarterback with a similar background in the offense that you want to run, the clock is similar in his head. So you're hoping that you get a guy that can fit in right away and have the thoughts of the coordinator in the quarterback's head on the field in terms of timing, in terms of pass distribution, where the ball's going, and the tempo of the offense.
Bender also had offers from Georgia and from Western Kentucky, and they knew that Georgia certainly had an appeal for him because he grew up until about the age of 13 outside of Atlanta and then moved down to Florida. But he said, I wanted to go somewhere where I was going to be an impact player. If he goes to Georgia, that's a tough quarterback race right there.
It is. And there are multiple guys that can play the position, and the competition is relentless. So you go to a place where you feel like you have a chance, and fast forward, you're at Kansas where you're the guy now, and you feel like you've got offensive weapons around you. You've got a heck of a running back in Khalil Herbert, and you've got his backup in Taylor Martin. So you've got a 1-2 punch in the backfield with the athletes on the perimeter.
Well, how about that? Kansas, despite being down by 15, and they are on the doorstep here.
I can't remember.
Outgaining West Virginia.
Mike, I can't remember a team running for over 300 yards against the Mountaineers in a long time.
And the injured player is the senior cornerback, Mike Daniels, who was involved in the tackle on Steven Sims, hurt at the end of that play as they rolled through one another.
Daniels tending to that left leg. I'm not sure if he got tangled up. It was on the tackle. It looked like it may have buckled when he was getting it dragged on the ground, and he was trying to drag down Steven Sims inside the 5.
So now back to his feet. An important part of this defense that on the other side at cornerback, they've got Kenny Robinson, who's a true freshman out there and made just his first start last week against Delaware State.
Well, it's a position that defensive coordinator Tony Gibson is looking for more consistency. He said he was going to roll 3 or 4 cornerbacks into this football game. So you mentioned Battle and Bailey and Robinson. Now with Daniels out, you may need another guy to depend on to help that continuity and that consistency take place.
Looking ahead here, the ball is on the 2-yard line for Kansas. Is there any question you give Khalil Herbert a couple of shots?
Absolutely you do. You work on that offensive line. You tell that offensive line, this is what we're going to do, and you're going to get multiple opportunities if we fail once and fail twice.
Herbert having a huge day today, 264 yards on the ground. One of the best rushing performances in Kansas history, as a matter of fact. So he's already up to number 5. Tony Sands holds the number 1 spot. Still a ways to go to get there from 264.
That's right, another South Florida native, and Herbert actually works out with Tony Sands along with the quarterback Peyton Bender in the offseason in South Florida. So Tony set multiple records here as a terrific running back at Kansas, and Herbert told Tony during the summer, I'm going to go after a couple of those records that you have there. Well, he's well on his way today to adding his name to that list.
It's the best rushing performance in FBS this year. Keep in mind, here we are only in week 4, but the previous high water mark came by Tulsa's D'Angelo Brewer back on September 9th against Louisiana. That was 262 yards, and Herbert has 264 today, still with about 20 minutes left of game action. A long pause as Daniels, the injured corner for West Virginia, made his way off the field. A chance for both sides to catch their breath. And it's 1st and goal. Herbert is the running back for Kansas. Handoff, Herbert stood up at the 1-yard line. He's still pushing. And he goes down right between the 1-yard line and the goal line, but short of a touchdown. 2nd and goal coming, and they are quickly back to it. Bender to Herbert.
Really good defensive stand by the Mountaineers. They're expecting the football up the middle in between the tackles. And on 1st and 2nd down, just a good job of winning that battle at the line of scrimmage.
Look out for some size in the slot. Ben Johnson, number 84 in blue. A big target. Evan Fairs, another one to the top of your screen at 6'3". It's off to the left side, just a corner to get, and it's a touchdown. Taylor Martin goes on the ground, and the Jayhawks can pull to within a score.
Capitalizing on explosive plays, the Jayhawks finally find the end zone here with Martin going outside. Terrific pitch and catch to get the Jayhawks inside the 5-yard line from Bender to Sims, and then Martin uses that speed to the left pylon.
(35-27) West Virginia.
And Iowa has won 6 straight regular season games since last season's 41-14 loss to Penn State in Happy Valley.
Perhaps we'll see a similar theme to our own game here today if Saquon Barkley has the kind of day he and the Nittany Lions want. The Kansas defense has looked quite strong here in this 3rd quarter. Not getting to Greer on that drive or on that snap, and Gary Jennings sneaks away from the defense for the catch in the 1st down.
That's been the big difference with the Mountaineer defense, or the Mountaineer offense, excuse me, the time that Will Greer has in the pocket, the time he has to shuffle behind that offensive line and scan to find wide open wide receivers.
Inside handoff, McCoy tucks it away and gains 2. Back to action today after being suspended for a violation of team rules last week. Brought down by J.J. Holmes. One touchdown, 1 interception today for Greer. McCoy, and he's strung out.
Mike Lee coming from the secondary. We mentioned him a couple of times now, but he comes exploding from the defensive back play right out of the middle of the field to make the play on the edge of the Kansas defense. This is just an explosive play by the safety, finding the football, seeing football, and getting to Kennedy McCoy.
Illegal low block by number 53 of the offense. The 15-yard penalty and replay second down.
That's on the right tackle, Colton McKivitz.
Big mistake and a negative play for the Mountaineers offensively. Edge of your screen, 53. There's the cut there. And that's going to cost the Mountaineers pretty good field position. They had the ball close to the 45-yard line. Now it's back to the 31 of West Virginia.
Jake Spavital on the offense, up to the task. Here comes pressure as Greer dances away. He throws over the middle and has a short completion. Dorrance Armstrong contributing on the play defensively.
Great awareness by Will Greer, the best player on that defensive front. Dorrance Armstrong is coming on a twist. He's going to come inside right in the lap of the quarterback, but Will just calmly bides some time, get some ground depth in the pocket to sidestep him and make a positive play.
It's a 3-man rush, and the draw goes inside and past the original line of scrimmage. Crawford gets it, but the Kansas sideline is absolutely juiced right now with what they've created here. And we've got a bit of a skirmish at midfield, which quickly dissipates, and that's best for both teams.
Well, you can feel the momentum shifting towards the Kansas Jayhawks sideline. That's a stop where they were able to take advantage of a penalty, not allow the Mountaineers to get the first down, and force the special teams on the punt.
Sims gets underneath and grabs it at the 16-yard line. College game day in New York City. Always trust in the Bear. Who knows?
Last year, Kansas was a huge underdog 4 times in Big 12 play, 3-0-1 against the number. Maybe you got 4-0, depending on the Oklahoma State game. I think how bad they've looked, maybe they get lulled to sleep. They got TCU coming up, maybe looking ahead.
Mine, I got it.
41-21, something never in doubt of the win, but a little backdoor action.
Well, the point total is going to be a little bit higher than the initial prediction of 41-21. But how about that? It did not look like this is where this game was going to be headed through about 20 minutes. But big credit to Kansas, which has turned it around.
Wasn't feeling so confident about the Bears' prediction about a half an hour ago. Now a lot better.
Pick up a 5 on first down for KU. Against a 1 deep safety look. And Herbert gets ridden out of bounds. 35-27, the best rushing performance in FBS this year. We got a game and still 15 minutes to play. 17 unanswered points for Kansas to make it 35-27 as we go to the fourth quarter here in Lawrence. Mike Cousins, John Kajemi, Khalil Herbert having the game of his life, the best FBS rushing performance this year for number 10 in blue, 264 yards, and he's in the backfield on a big 3rd and 5 for the Jayhawks. Bender back to throw, right to the sticks, and Sims tiptoes his way, tap dancing out of bounds. First down.
And it looked like a penalty at the end of that reception to Sims.
They'll check in with Cooper Castleberry.
After the play, a personal foul, late hit out of bounds by number 19 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty, and it's a first down.
Not a very good decision by Elijah Battle. You have to be better than this. This is just a 5-yard out. He gets the sticks, does Sims. He's going out of bounds on his own. Just leave him be. When you hit him in the white, I think that's where the issue came. It wasn't a violent hit, but you hit him in the white, kind of just ride him out of bounds and take your losses.
After Kansas started 3 of 9 on 3rd down, they've converted 4 of their last 5. And along with some excellent performance from the defense, that's been a contributor in the comeback effort for the Jayhawks, trying to win their Big 12 opener for the first time since 2009.
And Mike, if I'm the Jayhawks offensively, I go back to the opening drive of the game right now. You have a quarter to win this football game. Go back to the things in that first drive and in where you got those explosive plays were on the ground between the tackles.
Here comes the pressure. Bender gets away from the first wave, gets the throw off. And it's incomplete.
Bender needed about another half second to deliver that football, but there was a flag. It looked like a flag late.
An ineligible player downfield, number 77 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still second down.
That is the 4th individual penalty for Tovey, the left guard. And if I'm head coach David Beatty, you have to have a talk with him because it's his individual play that has been halting drives, sometimes before they start, and sometimes taking potential points off the board.
It's a young offensive line, 4 sophomores, or rather I should say 3 sophomores, a freshman and a senior for Kansas. Room to run, but certainly not enough for a first down, and a throw hops to the 40-yard line, incomplete for Bender.
Good defense by the Mountaineers. They had pressure in the pocket on the last couple of plays, forcing Peyton Bender to escape, and I know Dana Holgerson, the head coach, is happy guys in the back end like Derek Pitts were able to cover for an extended period of time there on 3rd down.
Youth is a part of it, and that's going to be something that Kansas deals with all year long. The offensive coordinator, Doug Meacham, said it pretty well, pretty succinctly. Everybody's young, everybody's injured.
Nobody cares. Yeah, exactly.
West Virginia back on offense when we come back. There's a stark contrast for West Virginia looking at the drive chart from recent drives compared to, let's say, their first 5, which was punt and 4 touchdowns, and it's been the opposite here as of late.
Well, they were able to take 4 first-half drives and go 80-plus yards for scores, for touchdowns. And now it seems like it's turned around in the second half with a couple of punts and an interception.
Greer throws on first down onto the fingertips of his running back Crawford, who does a nice job to sneak his way through the defense for a pickup of 8.
I think that's a guy who needs to touch the football a little bit in this 4th quarter for the Mountaineers. He's so explosive, and he does such a good job of protecting the football. Get it to him on the ground, but let him catch it in space.
He's gone for 114 yards rushing already. And still plenty of time here in the fourth quarter. That's 4 games, 400-yard plus performances for Crawford.
And he's strong, and he's built. He has a slender build, but he's a workhorse type of back. So I know that head coach Dana Holgerson wants to save him for Big 12 play. They're in it now. Get him the football, get him his touches, and mix it up with David Sills on the outside.
Greer showing off the strength of his arm. Not a great throw there with defense on the inside. If it was a stronger throw, it might have been picked off.
Pretty good defense by defense. That was pretty nice down the edge of the Mountaineer sideline. He had inside position. He was able to force a perfect throw, and it wasn't. It was a little bit underthrown, so it's going to force a 2nd and 10. Greer, again, plenty of time, loads up and is not shy about trying to get the football down the field. That's just a really good position play by defense.
Martell Pettaway, the sophomore from Detroit, on the run, and the Kansas sideline. It's getting lit here for a 3rd down.
Mike, if you're the Mountaineers, the middle of the field is where you've made your big plays. If it's me, I try to get David Sills, who's lined up in the slot, lower side of the screen, into the middle of the field. That's where Kansas has been weak defensively.
Pocket collapsing, Greer toward the sideline, and he has the completion, picks up a 1st down to Marcus Sims. 25 yards on the 3rd down conversion.
Beautiful completion by Will Greer to Marcus Sims. Just a simple corner, short corner route, a smash route. You had Sills running a 5-yard out and then the corner behind it as a Kansas player down on the field. Will Greer has not really been touched this entire afternoon in the pocket. He's able to see, scan the field, and just throw it close. I mean, that's not a perfect throw by any means, but it didn't need to be. You have so much cushion that Marcus Sims allows you to give. You make it easy for your wide receiver, get it close, fall down, it's a 1st down, and you continue this drive on the Kansas side of the 50-yard line. Mike Lee coming out of the game. Hopefully he'll be back in for that Jayhawk defense.
277 yards for Greer today. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. 1st down and 10 from the 45-yard line. Now he's on the move. He's got a 1st down and then some inside the 30 and brought down close to the 20-yard line. So a gain of 24 yards for Greer, who the first time feeling significant pressure finds an opening and scrambles.
And that's the first time that Will has actually had some room to tuck it and run. He's been able to extend plays, and he does so by stepping up into the pocket. Good protection. He's protected there, but feels a little tight on the edge, so he decides to run the football and shows off his athletic skills.
Play action looking for the end zone. And it hits the ground in and out of the arms of Gary Jennings.
Wow, you could not throw it any better than Will Greer did right there. Gary Jennings, who's a talented player, a junior wide receiver, has to come down with this catch. I mean, you cannot put it in a better spot. This is just textbook quarterback placement of the football. Over coverage, that needs to be 6 points.
That's the type of throw that deserves to be on a highlight reel in slow motion. 2nd and 10 for Greer, who's got the 2nd most touchdown passes in America behind Josh Rosen of UCLA. Almost had another one. Now he's getting run down, and a back foot throw to the back of the end zone is incomplete. Good coverage and pressure from Keith Lonecker, the linebacker who brought it to Greer.
Well, if you're Kansas, you need one more stop. It's 3rd and 10. You need one more play to make the Mountaineers pay for dropping the football in the back of the end zone. Will Greer now has extended plays with his legs. He's done a good job of riding it out, keeping away from the sacks and keeping plays alive. But on 3rd down, today the Mountaineers 7 for 12. So they've done a pretty good job on 3rd down. And I think Kansas wants to talk about what they want to do defensively.
Out of the half.
8-point game with West Virginia in striking distance.
Today's contestants are Tiana and Anna.
ESPN College Football is presented by Vizio, maker of award-winning 4K displays, and in part by Subway. The autumn carved turkey is a home run, or a touchdown, or another successful sports thing.
Welcome back to Lawrence. We're waving at you here from Memorial Stadium. Mike Cousins and John Congemi setting things up for Will Greer here, who's got a big 3rd and 10.
In a big afternoon. My position on these types of downs, it's not so much about the play, it's about the players. Who do you trust the most with the football? For me, that would be David Sills.
And a short throw. Sims stretching out as he goes down. The ball comes out.
Boy, it sure did look like he was down. It looked like Sims was down on the play.
Tyrone Miller swoops in to scoop it up, but
and down by rule, no fumble.
the spot is short, so it's a 4th down.
The previous play is under further review.
Good pitch and catch by Will Greer. Goes to the short side. He had man-to-man coverage. Could have went fade. He decides to go slant. I think that might have been the adjustment on the play. Marcus Sims going to catch this football close to a 1st down. He's about a yard short. It looked initially and was ruled that he was down a yard short. He secures the football there. The knee is down there. You can't tell if the ball is secured there. I don't think it comes out until he's well on his backside. So this play should stand. Should be Mountaineer football. He secures it there. He's down right there. He has possession of the football. He's reaching for the 1st down, and the ball comes out there. So should be Mountaineer football. Knee was down right around the 12-yard line. It appears that's where the ball is going to be spotted with the stretch by Sims at the end there. Now a big decision, it would appear, for head coach Dana Holgerson has, whether he wants to keep his offense on the field, knowing that he's going to need some points the way Kansas has been coming on.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed.
No surprise there, so 4th and 1.
It's 4th down.
And you could safely go for a field goal here and stretch this to a 2-score game.
I think they might. I think the Mountaineers might bring that field goal unit out on the field.
That replay basically serving as a free timeout for West Virginia to mull over options here, and they've got a perfect spot to be able to kick this ball right between the hash marks.
And I think this is the right decision. You're going to need more points. You want to force Kansas into a 2-score game. Nice drive by Will Greer. Let's let your special teams come out, convert here by Mike Molina.
29-yard try.
There might have been contact, Mike. Right at the nose tackle position.
Something going on along the line.
It might be offsides against Kansas. Right over the snap of the football. And if it is, it's a terrible mistake.
By number 2 of the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty and a 1st down.
That's on Dorrance Armstrong, who's the rock of their defense, and a critical mistake at an unforgivable time.
That is just inexcusable by one of your best players on the football team. You're in close to the line of scrimmage, right next to the football. The last thing you want to do is keep this drive alive. There's no need. You're not going to be able to affect the kick from there unless you split the lineman. But there's no need to jump off sides. You almost give the 3 points away, let your offense come back onto the football field after the kickoff. Now, the Mountaineers in perfect position to extend their lead with a touchdown.
Martell Pettaway is the running back on 1st and goal. Greer going to the air, incomplete. Nicely broken up by defense, who has the interception of Greer as well.
Hassan defense, good timing, undercutting that route at the goal line, making it difficult for Will Greer to fit that football in. We've mentioned defense's name multiple times, but this is just a good break on the football and playing the receiver, making it difficult for White to come down with that quick slant.
Three wide receivers on second down. Greer to the end zone, touchdown. David Sills. From 7 yards out, Greer has his second touchdown of the day. And it could have been 3, but a crucial fourth down penalty extends the drive. And West Virginia capitalizes to get 6 pending 7.
Get it to your playmakers in the red zone, and Stills one of those guys.
That's good for Molina. 42-27. The Mountaineers in pursuit of 3-1 in their Big 12 opener. Greer to Sills. Mountaineers fans are going to be hearing that a lot. 27. West Virginia, having its drive kept alive, takes advantage. They were going to settle for a field goal, but they turn it into a touchdown. Their 5th touchdown drive of 80 yards or more today. How about it? 255. That's a long scoring drive for them.
Good teams make you pay when you make mental mistakes. And West Virginia made Kansas pay by taking points off the board and being able to convert that into a touchdown.
Well, David Beatty for Kansas looking for just win number 4 in 28 tries. Flash back to their last Big 12 home game, November 19th of last year against Texas. Not a great day for Deontay Foreman. Shane Buechele gets intercepted, and Kansas feel a little juice in the building. It's a 24-21 win in overtime. And after last year, David Beatty got his contract extended. There's contact at the end of that play. Is there going to be a flag? No. Looking deep downfield for Sims, who had a long catch earlier in this game that helped set up a touchdown.
That was the big hookup in the third quarter. They tried again, this time down the middle of the field. It looked like Elijah Battle may have contacted Sims right there, but it wouldn't have. I don't know if he would have been able to get to the football. There was contact early, but that's just a good football play in my opinion.
On the run, it's a first down and then some for Taylor Martin.
We've seen some running backs on both sides of the football today get some tough yards in between the tackles and then get into the second level and make plays.
It's been a lot of fun to watch these teams go back and forth on the ground. Martin again, Khalil Herbert for Kansas with 266 yards, the best rushing performance by an FBS player so far this year. And for most of the second half, it's actually been Kansas overall that's outgained West Virginia. 3rd and 2 coming up. Those longer throws to the perimeter have been a little challenging for Bender.
They have, and you wonder why. Where's Khalil Herbert in that second and short situation? You know you're going to get the first down. He's been pounding it in between the tackles. Give him that opportunity.
Please reset the clock to 10:09.
A 2-second add-on from the 10:07. That was on the clock in the end zone. On 3rd down and 2. Fake to give up the middle. Go over the top for Johnson, who makes his first catch of the day and is dragged down at the 29-yard line. Big target, big gain, 23 yards.
And again, right up the middle, Ben Johnson, where has he been in this Kansas offense?
Herbert still slicing his way through. The chain gang wasn't even set, and he was still running. Let's go to the studio quickly. Here's Chris Cotter.
UMass and Tennessee. Tennessee a 4th touchdown favorite in this one, but UMass with Chris Berman as the honorary coach in this game for the Minutemen. Andrew Ford finds Sadiq Palmer here 13 yards out of the 4-point game, guys.
Well, if you thought it was tough for Butch Jones after last week, even a win, sometimes,
at this point,
sometimes as a head coach, you can't win.
No,
and
when
in this
you
case,
win.
even if he wins.
That's right. Big 3rd down opportunity for the Jayhawks offensively here.
Looking for the inside screen. It's Kerr Johnson who makes his first catch of the year, but it's not enough to pick up a 1st down.
Wow, and how do you lose your footing from Kerr Johnson? He had nothing but green turf in front of him and an escort to not only a 1st down, but potentially a bigger play than that.
So they got to go for it here, down 42-27. Looks like timeout, West Virginia.
Right.
West Virginia calls their first timeout of the half. Media timeout.
Another pivotal moment. Well, Memorial Stadium is the place to be right now in Lawrence, but place 1A, how about the 5th floor patio at the Oriad Hotel, which overlooks the game right here?
You know what, as we look in, half our crew's up there, I think. That's the place to be.
Turn around, number 2. You got the game behind you. Wrong way. All right, 4th down and 4 for Kansas out of a West Virginia timeout. Bender, plenty of time. Rolls out, tosses, and a difficult catch. But along the sideline, it's a big one for Jeremiah Booker. The drive stays alive for KU. 8.5 to go.
Been really impressed with both of these quarterbacks, the way they're able to not lose their cool, be able to scan the field when they're extending plays, and then be accurate on the run, especially in critical situations.
Looking for room through the middle. It's a pickup of 4 for Taylor Martin. How about what they've gone with here on the last couple setups? They keep a few more backs there, give Bender a little bit more time.
I like what they're doing because they're going back and it looks carbon copy to the first drive of the game.
Now Bender escapes the pocket but does not get much further. There is a flag down. That's where you compare Greer and Bender, and the elusiveness for Greer is a few steps above what Bender brings to the table.
Well, it sets them apart. It makes the Mountaineer offense go. Might have been a face mask at the end of that. That's the only thing I can tell.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask on the defense. Penalties half the distance to the goal, and it's an automatic 1st down.
Penalties keeping the last 2 drives alive on both sides.
Yeah, now Kansas, can they take advantage of a penalty by the Mountaineers?
The foul is on number 46.
The end of that play, Reese Donahue, one of the most consistent players up front for the Mountaineers, gets the face mask call, and now the ball inside the 10-yard line.
If not for the penalty against Dorrance Armstrong for Kansas last time down, they might have just kicked a field goal here. Instead, going forward on 4th down, picking up some penalty yardage, throw into the end zone, and it's a touchdown KU. Steven Sims.
Mike, making teams pay for penalties, that's how you take advantage offensively. It's been the Steven Sims and Peyton Bender show for big plays in the second half. This time it goes on the quick slant to get Kansas even closer.
Back to a one-score game. And Sims with a touchdown brings in his third of the year.
6 catches, 96 yards. He adds the touchdown. 11-play drive, 75 yards over 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Finding number 11 in the end zone, and that's going to make your quarterback feel pretty good.
Let's go to the studio. Chris Cotter.
All right, Mike John, this game in Arlington is wild. A&M and Arkansas. First, the Razorbacks. Austin Allen is going to find Jonathan Nance for the score. This put Arkansas up 36-33 after the 2-point conversion. That's the 4th lead change in the second half. Are you ready for the 5th? Ensuing kickoff. Christian Kirk takes it right on his goal line. Picks up a couple of blocks. That's a huge seam right there. And that speed, forget about it if you're the kicker. 40-36 right now over on ESPN. A&M on top.
West Virginia on the kickoff return. I'll tell you what, sometimes it's the games where you don't know what to expect or you don't have what you think are 2 top teams. That's not 2 top 25 teams right there, and yet the home of the Cowboys putting on a show. Tonight after UCLA and Stanford on ESPN. Stick around for SportsCenter at night with Stan Verrett and Linda Cohn from LA. They'll have all the best from college football, Major League Baseball's playoff races, the Tour Championship, NFL news, and everything else tonight on SportsCenter at night.
All that sports, and Linda knows hockey's around the corner.
It's right on the verge. This baseball will dribble into October, and football is in peak form. Will Greer is going to be down there for a 9-yard scramble.
The ruling on the field is that the runner was down. Second down.
Again, plenty of time in the pocket. This time, the Kansas secondary actually does a good job of covering downfield, so Will Greer tucks the football, gets the left knee down before the ball comes out.
Crawford got hit high, picking up the first down ahead to the 43-yard line, a pickup of 6. So he continues his nice day. Over 120 yards for Crawford, and so he's got 400-yard games this year. It's his senior season. Now 9 100-yard games in his career.
We came into the day averaging almost 8 yards per carry. I know he didn't do anything today to hurt that.
Low throw, Sims gets underneath it and makes the catch.
And Mike, again, there's no one from Kansas in that front 7 that's affecting Will Greer in the pocket. And to his credit, he's buying some time, keeping plays alive, scanning the field and finding open playmakers in this Mountaineer offense.
The previous play is under further review.
So the question will be for Sims, did he get his arms underneath the ball?
Well, he's coming down on the post pattern, behind coverage. Greer again bouncing in the pocket, delivers a strike down the field. It looked like he had his hands well underneath it, and I'm not so sure he even bobbled the catch. I don't see the football escape through his elbows. It looked like a clean catch initially. There's nothing there that tells me he didn't catch the football.
They would need indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field, and it certainly doesn't look like, as we slow it down, that he did not have firm control of the ball.
Yeah, you're looking for that football to escape through his elbows and get to the turf, but I didn't see that from Marcus Sims on that play.
I think he controlled it, maintained possession all the way through going down. So a couple of replays today, and both of them, at least on the initial look, have been very simple calls.
Very clean.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
So the officials saw the same looks that we did. and fortunately come to the same conclusion.
That keeps the drive alive for the Mountaineers. Will Greer having himself an afternoon here in Lawrence, Kansas.
First down and 10, West Virginia at the Kansas 33. Greer gives it up for Pettaway, who's been in there to spell Crawford and McCoy on occasion today. Joe Deneen, the linebacker, makes the stop.
Good tackle on the perimeter of that Kansas defense by linebacker Joe Deneen. We've mentioned him a couple of times today, Mike. And Greer's been shaking that right arm the entire, over the last couple of plays. I'm not sure if he got a helmet on it, but tons of total yards here in this football game.
Greer looked to the flat. Now he looks over the middle. And the pass is caught, and Jennings survives a major blow. And there's a flag from the far side of the play. And I don't know, but by the way that play ended, you think it might involve targeting.
Jennings pops up. The big hit was by Mike Lee. And Greer, again, plenty of football time, looking right and then comes back to the left, throws a dime down the middle. Here's the play. There's the launch. The key is the crown of the helmet, and it can occur not just above the head and neck, but it could be anywhere. There's the launch. It looks like the face mask is into the chest of Gary Jennings.
A personal foul
and
on
the
number
shoulder.
11 of the defense. The play is under further review.
So the question is here, the way you can run through this protocol is, was the player defenseless? He's completing the act of a catch, but hadn't finished it yet. So yes, he was defenseless, but there wasn't forcible contact to the head or neck area, which wouldn't matter if it was with the helmet, the arm, the torso, whatever. All we're looking at here is, was it with the crown of the helmet?
Right, and you look for indicators. That was the launch by Lee, leaving his feet to make the hit. And those are all the things that the replay officials and the officials on the field, when they're making the call, there's the launch, the upward thrust, but is the lowering of the helmet expose the crown to the target area, to the chest area? There was a lot of shoulder. Watch Lee's right shoulder lead with the head, gets in there, but it does look like that the helmet or the target, the crown on top, leads first. Because you get the launch there, the upward thrust motion, and you have to remember it was called a penalty on the field.
And it's a two-part foul as well. There's not only the yardage component, but also a potential ejection.
Review, there is no foul for targeting. First down.
I think that's a good call by the officials, because they felt that the face mask, even though the launch and the upward movement from Lee was there, it looked like the shoulder hit in conjunction with the crown of the helmet, with the helmet, and it was more the face mask than the top of the helmet.
Yeah, it's a small distinction as far as area of the helmet, but a big one in terms of a penalty and a possible ejection. So the result of the play is a 30-yard completion for West Virginia, 1st and goal to 3. Greer fakes the handoff and takes it himself, turning the corner for a touchdown. 48-34. West Virginia answers Kansas at the other end. And now time is not on Kansas's side with just 5:16 to go.
And Mike, anytime the Mountaineers needed to answer a score with a score here in this second half, they have, to extend their lead, to keep that cushion on the Mountaineer sideline and on the scoreboard, more importantly.
The extra point makes it 49-34.
Will Greer's done an excellent job throwing the football, and this time he's able to run that zone read to perfection. He sees Daniel Wise close down on the wide side of the field, and head coach Dana Holgerson knows his offense and this football team needed that touchdown. 25 of 39, 347, 2 touchdowns. He's added 48 yards on the ground in that score. So Will Grier off to an unbelievable 2017 season.
And just in game number 4 here with West Virginia as they try and go to 3-1 to open the season. And a win would be a nice way for them to go into a bye week next weekend before they go on the road again on October 7th to take on TCU. This one's coming out to the 25, and we are going to the studio to check in with Chris Cotter.
Okay, Mike, John, let's go to
Florida State, NC State. Whoa.
That's right. Florida State always has trouble with NC State. Normally it's in Raleigh.
All right, forced into some passing situations here. It's a hit from the backside on Bender. And it took a while. Took a while for that play to get blown dead as Lamont McDougal, the freshman from Florida, laid the hit on Bender.
From Pompano Beach, his dad played in the NFL. This is the first time we've called his name. He comes from the backside of the play. Terrific close on the quarterback, Bender. I think the officials are going to take a look at this again to see if that right arm was indeed going forward. And what you're looking for is control by Bender when his arm starts to move forward. I'm not so sure McDougal didn't touch this ball before the act of the throw started. Take another look. Bender's in the pocket, getting pursued from behind. I don't know. I don't know if that ball actually turns before the arm is moving forward. McDougal may have been able to move or get his hand on the football or through the hit, make the ball move. There's an empty hand going forward. This is a very close one. Take a look again. The arm going back, the ball's out. I think that's a fumble.
Right, because, John, what the rule book says is that if the passer's hand comes forward in an obvious passing motion, which we have here, with control of the ball, it's considered to be a pass. But he doesn't have control of the ball.
I think Bender loses control of the ball because McDougal gets the hand on it before the act of the throw starts.
Okay, so working with that, you then have to go to, is there a clear recovery in the immediate continuing action? And if that's the case, if it is a fumble, number 10 in white, Dylan Tonkery, the weak side linebacker, just comes over, not really sure what's going on.
Casually picks up the ball.
But he picks it up, and that, if it is a fumble, would clearly grant possession to West Virginia.
Right around the 30-yard line.
Right. So those are the things that the officials are going to work through here is part A, fumble, yes or no, which
I believe there is. I believe it's a fumble.
I think if it was going to be an incomplete pass, we'd have a call by now.
Yeah.
Because, again, going back to the rule book, if the hand's coming forward but with control of the ball, then it can be a pass. But I think that exactly what you said is as his hand, right as it started to come forward,
the ball
is when
moves.
McDougal knocks it out. I think he no longer has control.
Yeah, I think the ball moves from a throwing position and it moves sideways before the act of the throw started.
Kansas trying to complete a comeback. They were down at one point 35-10. That was our halftime score. They pulled twice here in the second half to within 8 points, but they've hurt themselves with a couple of crucial penalties, a pick six as well, and a nice interception return by Mike Daniels for West Virginia. And those small plays have made big differences today.
West Virginia has been able to answer in the second half. You know, Kansas came along and started to get some momentum, but West Virginia's been able to match a score with a score.
One other element, so again, if this is a fumble, which we believe it is, where's the ball? What's the clock situation?
Ball was fumbled and recovered by the defense at the 31-yard line. First down.
And that's why they tell you to play until you hear the whistle, because Tonkery goes over to pick it up, and he leaves the officials no choice but to say clear recovery there by West Virginia.
And now the Mountaineers with excellent field position at the Kansas 31-yard line.
First and 10 West Virginia at the 31.
So it's Greer and the Mountaineers with McCoy in the backfield and 3 receivers. And expect to see a lot of rushing. And this is McCoy inside the 5-yard line. Well, they want to take the clock down as far as they can, but getting into the end zone would be not a bad consolation prize either.
That's right. Mountaineers with multiple explosive plays on the ground running the football. Both teams have had some chunk yardage plays that way, but it's been all offense and all Mountaineers here late in this fourth quarter.
28 on the run for McCoy on first down. Greer bobbles and dives. How about it? He punctuates the second straight Mountaineer drive with a touchdown run, and even he knows he got a little bit lucky.
I think all you can do is smile at the end of that run. That's 2 touchdown runs in the fourth quarter for Will Greer. That one a little bit more excitable than the first one. He waltzes in on the first one. This time in that zone read, I think he sticks it in the belly a little bit too high, and as it comes out, he loses control of the football, but great concentration with the left hand. Calmly corrals the football and dives in the end zone for the score.
With the way that ended up, you know, he's had a nice passing day. It's kind of a pass to himself.
That's right. Looked like he was spinning the football on his left hand. Dana Holgerson talking to his quarterback, wanting to get together and kind of go over a lot of stuff. And this game summary, we're going to go over a ton of stuff. Over 1,000 yards, over 1,100 yards of total offense.
And John, the total on average for these two teams coming in was 1,034.
Unbelievable. Career high, 270 yards rushing.
Which, look, there's only so much space.
Here.
That's the best rushing performance this year in FBS. And it's going to go overshadowed by what West Virginia has done.
And how about Greer? 4 total touchdowns, 347 in the air. Unbelievable.
A top 5 single game rushing performance in Kansas history for Khalil Herbert. Kansas gets another opportunity here, although after Greer's last couple of rushing scores, this one may be out of reach. You know how quickly things can change week to week, but year to year in college football. The 2007 Kansas football team had Todd Reesing at the helm at quarterback under Mark Mangino. They lost that game at Arrowhead against Missouri 36-28, but come back and win the 2008 Orange Bowl over Virginia Tech 24-21. And one of the things that David Beatty mentioned yesterday is we sat in his office overlooking the end zone. He goes, look, we're scoring. This is the highest scoring team since that Orange Bowl squad as they come into play today.
They're averaging close to 32, 33 points a game.
32, yeah.
And he felt like they left a couple of scoring opportunities over the first couple of weeks on the field.
And I think, again, today, that'll be something they look back at and think, hey, we left a few more scoring chances out there. But the administration firmly backing him. They extended his contract through 2021 at the end of last season. And part of the reason he said when he came here 3 years ago, why he took this job, was because of the assurance that he got from the administration that he could do things the way he wanted to do them, which was not through putting a Band-Aid on it and trying to fix things through junior college transfers, but to go to the high school ranks, recruit, grow those players by redshirting, letting them come up through the system, and turning it into a program that can have sustainable success. Bender, and that pass is tipped and intercepted. It was a nice throw over the middle, but now it's going back the other way for West Virginia. Al-Rashid Benton, the redshirt senior middle linebacker, gets the pick off the tip ball.
I'm not sure you can throw it any better than Bender does over the middle. That was a terrific job of delivering the football right on the money, but a good hit coming out of that secondary. Looked like it was Askew Henry on the hit. And then the interception by Benton. Does he step out of bounds any earlier? No, he stays in bounds. And that ball is going to be inside the 10-yard line. Spotted at the 8 for the Mountaineer offense.
Got a timeout. Kansas.
Kansas calls their second timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
More football coming your way next here on ESPNU. We take you to North Carolina, a heated rivalry with Duke and UNC, Blue Devils and Tar Heels coming up.
We got a chance to see Duke earlier in the year. Very impressive on offense, a young quarterback coming into his own. North Carolina, not so impressive in the first couple of weeks. So that, you know, anything can happen in that rivalry type of setting.
So Duke and UNC.
The ball coach, 87-89 with Duke. They clinched the ACC title with a 41-0 win at UNC. So this rivalry goes back, dated before Spurrier, but definitely influenced by Steve.
So Greer with Wellman as the fullback, the lead blocker. They go away from him, and instead for McCoy, who goes through the middle for West Virginia. McCoy, 2 rushing touchdowns. Will Greer, the last 2 possessions, has had 2 rushing touchdowns. And Justin Crawford has 1 as well.
And this has got to be probably the most difficult thing that West Virginia has to do, is stay in a quasi-huddle for as long as this, because they never do. It's all about tempo, but you're trying to take down that clock. You don't need points, you just need that clock to wind.
McCoy in the backfield, 10 carries, 104 yards. So that's 2 100-plus yard performances out of the West Virginia backfield today.
I would think Dana Holgerson has got to be pleased the way his team responded. They were out to a big lead, fought some adversity in the middle of that football game, and then came back and had some defensive turnovers that helped the offense with field position, had some explosive plays. It looks like it's going to lead them to victory.
Stretching toward the goal line, but not enough to get the job done with the ball sitting on the left hash mark. As we are inside of 2 minutes, well, West Virginia's got 4th and goal. And no sign of any special teams coming on the field. Well, it may be late in the game, but it's a very important play here for West Virginia. They are spread out to the top of the field. Greer on the ground. He's not down. Could he have his 3rd rushing touchdown? He does not. A very important stop for Kansas. Bryce Tornaden brings down Will Greer.
It looked like Greer was going to escape the first arm tackle and get into the end zone for the Mountaineers. And like I said, the points at this point for West Virginia, not as important as winding that clock down. And the clock at 1:13, but Greer, a little play action inside, zone read. Armstrong in pursuit. Miller in pursuit almost gets him down to the ground, but Tornaden finally does inside the 2-yard line.
What were your impressions overall of Will Grier watching him in this offense in the Big 12 opener?
I loved his patience. I loved what he did when things weren't there on time, and he was able to buy himself some time, extend a couple of plays. You know he's tough. You know he's going to make really good decisions. Took shots down the field. I was overly impressed with the way he handled it as a leader of the Mountaineer offense.
And that scrambling ability is going to be very important for him going deeper into the Big 12 schedule against teams that are able to dial things up a little bit more with pressure, especially from the front four.
As the competition grows, it will be imperative that Will Grier find guys that he knows he can go to in certain situations.
Well, a career day continues to get better for Khalil Herbert, who takes the handoff from the backup quarterback, Carter Stanley, who ends the day for Peyton Bender. "35 seconds left here in Lawrence. West Virginia will go to 3-1, and Kansas will drop to 1-3. So up next, it's a bye week for West Virginia before an October 7th date with TCU. And Khalil Herbert up to 287. We knew it would take a lot to catch Tony Sands at number 1, the 3rd best rushing game in Kansas history.
And you hope he's okay. He came off to the sidelines. He surpasses Gale Sayers, the Hall of Famer. So what a day for Herbert.
That's pretty impressive. And that brings this one to a close. Final score, West Virginia 56, Kansas 34. A valiant fight from KU. West Virginia, you knew coming in the talent was superior to what the Jayhawks had, and ultimately that prevailed.
Mountaineers did what they needed to do on the road to open up the Big 12 conference play, and they've got the offense to do it.
So thanks for being with us. For our entire crew, my partner John Kinjemi, I'm Mike Cousins, reminding you West Virginia 56, Kansas 34, the All-State Saturday.